evening. My name is Stanislaus Martins, as you all know, president of the association, ADMAP. And since June, we've put together a more comprehensive or more consistent training calendar for our members, just as a way of helping to upskill and add value. Sometimes we open up these trainings to the public, just so that the public sees the value of what we bring to the table. And potentially that has actually helped in getting quite a lot of guys to also sign up, because they now begin to have that sense of FOMO, fear of missing out. We've had quite a bit of sessions already with some really solid professionals. Obviously, remember we all started with Nelson's programmatic session. Nelson has promised to come back for another more practical session. We'll probably align with him on that for H2. Sorry, guys, it's beginning to rain here. If you're in Lagos, it's probably raining where you are as well. And I have to just give me a minute to shut my door, and I'll be with you guys shortly. So I'm back. When it rains here, it gets very, very noisy because I have some metal blinds here. Okay. So we started off the session with Nelson. We went quickly to Toby. Toby took us to growth marketing. And we also had Chukudi come talk to us about brand building in the digital world. Along the line, we reached out to the head of marketing at BetKing, a good friend of mine, Nengi, and she was happy to grace us with her presence. And she shared highlights, some strong highlights from Cannes 2024, which a number of us did not attend. I think one of the key takeouts from that session for me was how digital advertising has never been more important. Pretty much every single event. I personally have been to Cannes 3 times myself, and digital was always a strong component. And Engi and I were fortunate to have been in Cannes at the same time at one point in time. But for her to come out in 2024 and tell us that, look, guys, I know in the past there always used to be digital components, but this year digital was a big thing. So it was really nice to hear that from someone who attended. My very good friend as well, Muyiwa Leshin-Lawyer, was also here to take us through digital appreciation for CMOs. It was a very, very loaded session and also well attended. And today, by popular demand, we have Tunji. Again, Tunji sent in his presentation. I went through it quickly. And these are the kind of trainings that we probably will be charging for in future. I think maybe starting next year, the association has a lot of real top quality industry leaders that we need to now begin to make money for the association. I think based on what I've seen from the presentation, Tunji's presentation, I think we'll do very, very well in that regard. So this training is for newbies. And even if you're an experienced media buyer, trust me, Tunji is super experienced. He's worked at multiple companies where this is what he did for several years. I'll get him to introduce himself shortly. And even if you're super experienced, trust me, you will pick a thing or two from here, and you might even be able to drop some of your bad habits. Then finally, the last training for this month is going to be another good friend of mine, Joshua Kimbanjo. He's not a part of the community, and he has obviously agreed to do this for us as well at no cost. I think in my own experience working with digital marketers, I get that sense that excuse me. Sorry, Jai. That's somebody trying to get my attention. So, like I said, Joshua is super experienced. I worked with him while I was at Inside Publicis. He now runs his own business. I feel a core skill that digital marketers need to have is some level of people skills, because some of you own your own businesses, some of you work for people. At the end of the day, you interface with other professionals, you work with brand managers, you work with agencies. It's super important to understand how to manage these people. And I feel that this training will help impact members of the association, help you get that very, very important skill. So the calendar for this June and July ends on the 25th, and we are actively working on another calendar. And we've asked you all, we share the link with the community, and I've asked you all to recommend trainings. So far, we only have nine responses. I mean, some of you recommended multiple trainings, but in total, only 9 people have actually recommended, which I feel is a bit low. So please check the community, check our WhatsApp. You will find the link there. And if you have particular training needs that you feel will benefit you and the rest of the community, please feel free to add them. Also, more important, these are some of the trainings that you guys have already recommended that you would like to have, which makes a lot of sense. There's a lot around e-commerce, SEO, performance marketing, social media, and the likes, even content creation and influencer marketing are all here. And I'm sure within the community, we have people who can take this. And even when we don't have people in the community that can take this, very, very easy to get people that can do it. Beyond recommending topics for us to cover, we also need you to recommend speakers. This is actually even more important now than the topics. We need you to recommend speakers. We need male speakers, we need female speakers, so that we can ensure that going forward, in terms of the representation, it's a bit more balanced. This time we went all guns blazing and just picked people that we thought would be best. But now we've opened it up to you guys. Now we are counting on you to recommend topics you'd like us to cover, and also recommend speakers. Very, very important. So that's it. That's just a bit of a background. I'm going to go ahead and hand over to Tunji now. Tunji, are you on the call? Tunji's topic is digital media planning and buying 101. He's going to take us through basics, and I'm sure he's also going to step into a couple of things that are very, very practical. Tunji, good morning and welcome. The floor is yours.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Tunji. Just trying to get my cameras up so that y'all could see my face. And while that is trying to load, let me see if I could share my screen as well. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, your screen is now visible.
Okay. For some reason, this camera is just not coming up. I don't know, maybe because you started the recording. Okay, so I think I should just go ahead then.
Your camera
So
is
good
not.
morning. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not popping up. Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to try and see. Yeah, you should be able to start your video, but I just want people to see you so that you know it's not AI that is. Okay, I've given you access to share as well.
Okay, let me see.
See your
It's
screen.
still disabled here.
That's strange. Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. I mean, people don't really want to see your face.
Don't worry, you'll still maybe during the course of the presentation probably pops up.
Okay.
Okay, so can you all see my screen, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, they can. They've acknowledged.
Okay, great. So thanks for inviting me to this presentation. So pretty much introduction here, digital media planning and buying. But for starters, I'll just like to reintroduce myself. My name is Tunji Adelekon, right? And I presently head the paid digital team at WPP. WPP is one of the global media and advertising agencies with various agency arms like Essence Mediacom, Wavemaker, Wonderman Thompson, Ogilvy, and the likes of other sides of the businesses that I don't even know their names. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, we're presently trading with two key arms of media, which is Essence Mediacom and Wavemaker, and I oversee, both, sides of the divide. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. My career history is all on LinkedIn for you guys to support. I just try to, keep this very, very simple.
Quick,
So over, 12 years
Tunji,
plus. Yeah.
sorry to cut in, Tunji. You're not on presentation mode, are you aware?
Oh, really?
You're not yet on presentation mode, yeah?
How about now?
I think it is loading. Not yet.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Is it good now?
No, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one seeing you.
Is it on presentation mode now? Because it's already full screen from my side. One minute.
Okay, Tunji is going to be connect. We tested it before the session. Everything worked very, very well. So not sure what's gone wrong again. Interesting to see so many of you online on a Saturday morning. Okay, I think the weekends actually make sense for this kind of training. That's the vibes I'm getting. But we'll do a poll and find out if the weekends or Thursdays make more sense. Because from an attendance perspective, this Saturday has been quite impressive. Yeah, welcome back.
Okay, I'm back now.
Yep. Okay, so weekend is over according to your channel. So
Can you see my video now?
yeah, even your video is back.
Okay, good. So I had to kind of log out and log in. So let me try to share screen first. Is it on full screen now?
Okay, so all I see is a white screen now. It's a blank screen now, just pure whites.
I guess
Can you
it's
try
fine.
using your cursor and moving to the next slide or something? Let's see.
Hold on. Okay. How about now?
Okay, I see your screen now. Are you in presentation mode right now?
Yes, I'm already in presentation mode.
No, something is wrong. It's still not showing in presentation mode. Okay, I think we might have to go on this way, even though for impact I would have preferred we have you in slides in the presentation mode, but we might just have to go on for time's sake.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I actually did this before starting.
Yeah, we tested it all before, it all worked, so.
That's fine. So let me give it another try again.
Are you using two screens?
No, just one screen right now.
And your laptop or is not in any extended mode or mirror mode? You're not sure about that? Because that
Nope.
could be an issue.
Okay. How about now?
Okay, sharing screen. I see my face.
See your face. Okay. How about now?
I see something that's supposed to be like full screen, but it's blank. It's just blank.
Is it on full screen now?
Okay, Toby is recommending you put it in presentation mode before sharing. Can you try that?
Okay.
Let's see if that works.
Okay, presentation mode. I'm doing that right away.
Then you share after.
Okay, it's on presentation mode. How about now?
Perfecto.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Toby.
Thanks,
Okay,
Toby.
over to you,
All
Tunji.
right. So I think I'll just move on. I think I'm done with the introduction, but for the benefit of those joining us here, my name is Tunji Adelekon once again, and I presently head the paid digital team at WPP Scan Group, which is a combination of two other agencies, Essence Mediacom and Wavemaker. And moving on to the next. So this is just my startup quote for you being a media planner or a buyer. If you're going to do it, just do it right. You know what that means. So you're having to deal with your clients and you've been given this task, to come up with a media plan. You don't know what you're going to do. The first mindset or first positive mindset for you is by the time I'm going to get this out of the way, just ensure that you've done it right. So this is pretty much an interesting disclaimer. What you're about to know today, you already know, right? So just like Stan, earlier mentioned, you guys are already experienced. You've got 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years experience, so you already know. Just learn more, right? So just learn more, from what you're going to be gaining out of this entire session. So pretty much what we'll be discussing, in the highlights, I've talked about the introduction. We'll be talking about, the hierarchy of objectives, media planning, the approach, how to construct a media plan, so selecting your media mix, how objectives, relate, to business goals, optimization techniques, then moving on to media buying, operational and implementation processes. So for the benefit of you guys that have not gotten agency experience, right? I'm going to be taking us through how a proper agency runs, for digital media planning and buying. So it's going to actually help you determine how your career path, is going to go. And if you get the opportunity of crossing to the other side, which they call client side, it's going to be, the better for you. So starting with media planning, right? We already know that today's marketers are often tasked with balancing campaign efforts across a range of different media platforms. So it's definitely challenging for you to determine what the bottom line of the business objectives could be, and with a thorough strategy in place, you can actually determine and make informed decisions based on how you want to get the desired results. So this is just pretty much like a little form of insights, and what digital advertising pretty much is all about. Account planning, what to tell, right? Then from the creative, how to tell it, which is the visual representation of what you want to do. And the media is definitely the media vehicles, where and when to tell it. So keep these three in mind, as your base points. Now, what is media planning all about? In a nutshell, connecting, advertisers, which are brands, with consumers. So that's pretty much what it means in a nutshell. But if you want to give it a broader, definition, media planning is the process by which marketers determine how, when, where an audience is giving a selected advertising message. So you need to actually analyze the channels, determine the media mix, and ensure that your bidding is in the best efficient way possible to communicate to your target audience. So that being said, we now have to start from the basics, and it all starts with the objectives. You get a brief from a client. The standard thing is in that brief templates or whatever templates you guys work with or the clients you enhance with, the hierarchy of the objectives starts with the business objective, marketing objective, and communication objective. So these three are not really cast in stone. It all depends on the kind of clients you work with. Some clients, they already have their business objective set, from the other side of things. And that, talks about top line and bottom line. The goal is to, drive sales, The goal is to increase, their acquisitions. The goal is to, do a go-to-market strategy or research. Depending what their business goal is, at the end of the year, they use a fiscal year to now ascertain performance. But marketing now comes in place as the medium, to drive out that message. So definitely a marketing objective in some cases, right, could be similar to the business objective, but it's quite different. Then your communication objective is your tone of voice, your communication strategy that comes everything under it, and how you want to communicate, to your target audience in the right way. Now, when you receive a brief, right, there are some basic things that you also need to consider. Strategies are not just developed independently. So just like you have the overall marketing objective, it still comes with a strategy. You have to understand the business strategy, then the marketing strategy, all breaking down to both communication and creative strategy. So if you're a 360 holistic, advertising agency, I mean, you guys are all going to be on the round table to do this brainstorm, and every arm or every department begins to pick his or her own side of the task. So for communication strategy, you could see here that's where pretty much media is sitting. And for traditional media agencies that have digital arms, it's going to be the ATL strategy as well. And for you guys who are in the digital team, you have to also come up with your digital strategy. And for PR agencies that also have links, with the same media agency, they do the same thing, etc., etc. But for us, we are focusing on digital strategy, and that encompasses all the media vehicles that you can see on your screen, from paid search or display, mobile, social, video, apps, programmatic, and every other thing in between. Now, as we know, or perhaps you must have gotten one or two insights into this, marketing funnel is highly influenced by various deliverable factors. So, and as a digital marketer, you have to take all this into consideration, starting with the objective. Reach and frequency is one of the key KPIs. Engagement, search, building of your community, depending on what the objective is. It could be e-commerce led, it could be performance marketing led, which leads to acquisition. It will also be, lead generation, where, for example, real estate companies always like doing this for lead generation. They want to just get first-party data of potential, clients that can actually convert and buy properties offline. Or if you are a betting company, that you want to drive, acquisitions for new user registrations, sign-ups, and every other thing. Could be also, an e-commerce platform that that you are tracking sales, your checkouts, and every other, KPI objectives. And here are the touch points. So all your digital media vehicles, from display to search, affiliate marketing, these are your touch points that you need to consider in your strategy and the desired outcome. So is it brand awareness? Is it brand retention? Is it repeat purchase? So repeat purchase pretty much has to have things to do with remarketing, social advocacy, social sharing, or you just want to do some purchase intent. So paid search is going to be your key medium when you are driving a purchase intent campaign, as well as other e-commerce channels. Then you also have to consider your destination assets. So before you run any campaign, you have to have the standard landing pages, because you need to drive your customers somewhere, right? So if you're not taking anybody anywhere, pretty much there's no point. And if a client is actually, trying to twist you that, oh, I just want to do a digital campaign, the first thing you should ask, do you have a landing page? That landing page could be a website, it could be a microsite, it could be an e-commerce store, it could be even a social media store. Right now for social media pages, they are now monetized for e-commerce as well. You just have to take people somewhere. It could be a mobile app if you are prompting for app downloads or app installs. And reporting, which is the key, end result to all these activities. You need to ensure that you test and learn your assets. A/B testing, comes into play both for copies. We're still going to, expatiate on that in the course of the presentation. You need to ensure that you do your analytics tracking, for your goals, set up events using your tag managers, and every other thing that you have to do to ensure that you are, and you are tracking your campaigns. It's always ideal, right? Even if you are running a brand awareness campaign, it's always ideal to still set up some level of campaign tracking. What I mean by that is, don't just receive the URL bland, www.client.com, and you just slap it on your ads and that's it. you need to wrap your URLs with UTM links, and from that you can actually link it to your analytics and determine the source and medium of where your ads are coming from. So that will make informed business decisions that from organic content or from organic media, paid media gives you X, gives you Y, and you can take learnings from there. So that being said, still talking about business objectives, you might have been in this space, at some point in your career, whereby you deal with some certain level of clients that are just focused on awareness, and awareness campaigns are pretty much prevalent with FMCGs, financial services to some point, and every other sector. But right now, things are beginning to metamorphose. Clients are beginning to get smarter, so you cannot bamboozle them, like the days of old, where you speak one grammar and they're like, all of them are clapping for you in the marketing, the entire marketing team are clapping for you. But right now, they are now beginning to make better informed decisions. Even FMCG campaigns right now are going performance, right? So they are beginning to track sales in a more efficient way. And for brand marketing related campaigns, your key KPIs from the overall marketing objective is awareness and engagement, right? And from that awareness and engagement, it could mean you are trying to get new customers, or you are trying to, re-engage, existing customers. So the base KPI metrics is what you see here to track, a brand marketing related campaign. Now, on the other hand, for performance marketing related campaign, for those of you guys in some core fintech or martech companies, that are very, very strict or strong with acquisition, your key, marketing objective here is both acquisition and retention, simply because you're driving user signups, you are pushing for app downloads. If you are into telco, you need to track opt-ins for people that want to opt into a service using all those USSD, star whatever hash, caller ring back to you. That's what they call CBT here. Track data, packs and every other thing, all encompassing first-party data collection. So you are taking people to a website where there's a form and they can fill, there's a name, email, phone number, and there's a submit button. So that is an acquisition-based campaign, and getting all those data on the back end, you can now export, reach out to the customer experience team from the client side or the sales team, pass those raw data to them, and they can do cold calls, right? Cold calls pretty much means they use those information they've gotten from paid media and start calling those customers to close deals. So if you are trying to look at the marketing funnel from the awareness consideration phase down to the conversion phase, you need to log in and clock in CRM links. So for some brands that are very good with CRM, retention, is very, very good for them. And what do they do for CRM based, marketing campaigns? These clients already have existing customers in their database. So they will categorize them into lapsed audience, churned audience, active audiences. And remember, when you are doing remarketing campaigns that is CRM led, you have to push different messaging for each different audience bucket. So take, for instance, you've already saved an ad to me. I've already seen it, and I've already engaged. I've purchased a product. Let's say it's an insurance company now. You sold a comprehensive insurance to me because I'm part of your target audience, right? I have already renewed my comprehensive insurance because I saw the ad. I clicked on your ad. I went to the website, filled the form, and did my motor insurance claim. Now, by the time you are retargeting me, you are going to be upselling your product in a smarter way, whereby you are telling me, oh, I know I have sold you comprehensive insurance package. Would you like to learn more about our travel insurance? Would you like to learn more about our health insurance, life insurance, something like that? So just your retention, customers, you need to keep, retargeting other forms of products to them with different ads, different messaging, and different call to action. So the creatives that you use for acquisition to bring new people into the funnel is going to be definitely different from the creative you'll be talking to people that have already been in existence, that have seen your ad maybe in the last 30, 60, or 90 days, right? And your key KPIs that you'll be using to monitor these campaigns, depending on the objective, if it's an app download campaign, app installs will be your key. And remember, if you are pushing an app download campaign, once you've set up your ads using Google UAC, right? or using Meta app installs, you are not just only pushing for the downloads, you need to also drive usage for that app. And that's where you need to start integrating third-party tracking platforms like maybe Apps Flyer, and all that for you to actually see the user journey from the point of people just downloading the app. Now you now need to ensure that people are making use of that app. So these are the key KPIs for performance marketing. So if you find yourself in a sport betting company, a financial service company, a fintech company where their key drivers are just acquisitions and retention, this is what you'll be measuring your reports against, right? So moving on, you need to now understand the kind of strategic approach. I know you guys have done a lot of digital strategy decks here and there, and you have different ideations, different approaches to how you tackle a certain brief, right? But this is just not cast in stone. So it's just giving you an idea that, okay, from the awareness stage, you need to also break down, the user journey to the consideration phase, and if there's a need for a retargeting phase. So it could be a 1 month campaign, it could be a 6 month campaign, depending on how you want to push through, the entire campaign push. These are the few things you should consider. So at the catch phase, right? Catch phase pretty much means you are trying to get new people in, you're trying to talk to new audiences, maximum brand awareness is necessary. So in that regard, your key target objectives when you are setting up your ads should be reach, or you could do brand awareness, depending on your choice. And when you are doing that, you need to cap your ad frequency. So you could say you want to reach a unique user at least 3 times. So which means your average frequency could be like a frequency of 3. And if you really need to ensure that you need a lot of top of mind recall, you can double it to 6, right? Depending on your marketing budget. Then the connect phase now pretty much has to do, with your social media elements. So as you're doing your paid media, you need to ensure that your social media page is pretty much active, whereby if you have a social media team or a community manager, content calendars need to, be on point. Frequent posting, you could, schedule your posting like in a month, you could do maybe 3 times a week. And there are some certain key days that your ads need to really get a lot of traction. So I know some of you know a few of these things. Wednesdays, Mondays, Fridays, depending on how you want to break that flow in a week. You should also identify the time of day that you are posting. So you know that a day in life, when you're trying to do a strategy document and you get to that point of, oh, what is the day in life of the target audience, meaning you are doing an audience persona. You say you wake up in the morning, 6 a.m., you are commuting on the road, you are listening to radio, okay, you are still engaged with the ad, you are swiping on your phone. So these are the key touch point periods on the time of ad scheduling you need to do. You need to select the timing. So if you are doing from 7 a.m., it's a very good thing to start your ad scheduling for like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, because that's the time people are already up and they are on their phones. So you can actually engage with them. Then you can also do perhaps midday from like maybe 1 p.m., 2 p.m., which is lunch break period, where you know that they'll be taking a break from their day-to-day schedules and going for lunch and going to do other businesses. And at the end of the day, after close of business, that's why you see traditional media guys, they are very heavy on drive time periods. They like to schedule their advert slots on radio during drive time when you are driving back home, right? So that period as well, you need to do your ad scheduling, and people can actually engage with your ad on their way back home. So from evening time up until like 9, 10 p.m., it's also a good period, to engage your audiences. So taking all those consideration phases in check, then you come back to the remarketing phase. If your brand or the brand you are working on has a remarketing phase though, then you need to use either targeted SMSs, email marketing, pushing, customized personalized emails to them, like I earlier mentioned, cross-selling and upselling your products, and getting their consent to actually fill forms, as well as go to your landing page to engage. Then your retainer phase, which is your sustenance phase, you can now start doing some funny ass content like, oh, you have testimonial videos for a product. Maybe you did an activation for this particular strategy at the awareness stage. You did an offline activation at ShopRite or in a mall. You are going to do content on that day, right? So your social media team will be there to take sights and sounds and captures and videos. So that retention phase, you push those testimonial videos as a sustenance, right? Do a mashup of all the activities that happened that day, put some sound behind your videos. Meanwhile, if you want your campaigns to really, really do very well, especially on paid social, which is Meta or Instagram or Twitter, ensure that your videos have sound. Even if you are doing an animation, make it have sound. It increases the CTRs. So those are one of the things. Don't just do animation or animated ads that is just quiet or very blank and you just post. So get it having sights and sounds. Then you can also now do a sustenance, form of creative. Just talking about the brand. It could be a thematic campaign that you want to just pick the tagline, right? So, for instance, now your home network or the real you can just start creating content around that tagline and engage your audiences, for the sustenance phase. And if you are doing advocacy, whereby you want people to opt in for referral programs, you are giving out vouchers, you are giving coupon codes, that is the right phase, for you to engage, with your audience. Yeah. Now, for performance marketing, for those of us who have had a taste of this, it's not everyone, but it's very nice if we start getting more performance driven digital marketers in Nigeria, because there are a lot of jobs out there right now and they require, performance marketing, initiatives. So that being said, if you have your overarching strategy, which is, actually brand awareness, which means you want to increase first-time consumers and all that, you have to determine your key pillars under these key funnels, right? The first one is your funnel approach, how you pushing your SEO traffic, how you optimizing your content, and how you measuring the results of your campaign. So for performance marketing, outfits or companies, these are the key things they look at, right? So optimizing first party data is very key. Even FMCGs are doing that right now. Sign-ups and everything, you have to track. Then for SEO, for you guys that are into SEO, you need to actually set KPIs for yourselves, whereby you need to increase the brand and non-branded organic traffic, increasing number of leads, considering the monthly active users that come on that website, get your backlinks in check, ensure that you peg guest posting, which is content posting. You could do a minimum of 10 or a maximum of 20 in a month, depending on, how quick you can generate, ad copies and content, and you need to wrap, your articles, with the keywords that can actually trigger your SEO ad. So for content optimization, right, you need to also consider how you need to educate the audiences about.
Just excuse quick one, sorry. I'm not sure what happened, but your screen is now dim. It's a bit darker than it was before. We can't see very clear.
Is it brighter now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think I just had to shake my mouse. Okay, I guess the screen was on idle. Okay, so like I was saying, considering the outcomes for your measurements, right, you need to consider this bucket list. So for funnel approach, led enablers, you need to look at what you are giving people. So you see some companies or some sectors that they are always, throwing the carrot like, oh, sign up now, get welcome bonus, sign up now and get a voucher. These are the things that you are going to use to track acquisitions. Then if you are into affiliate marketing, you can use the referral codes or the referral promo codes. You see all these skit makers on Instagram doing ads for betting companies and all that. They say use my promo code, use my promo code. Let me tell you now that that promo code is actually being tracked, because as an affiliate marketer, you get commissions off any acquisition or new sign up that comes from that your promo code. So the only way they will reward those influencers is the number of people that have actually engaged and signed up using that promo code. So there's a commission percentage to everybody you bring via affiliate marketing. So it's different from the regular way that, oh, you want to just do a brand awareness campaign, you get an influencer just because they have a lot of following. By the way, that's not the best way to use as a rationale. And you engage them and boom, they just post once and that's it. For you to engage an influencer on any promotion that you want to do, one of the things is ensure that they can collaborate with your brand. So they do the promotion collaboration posting. And they also need to pin that product of that they want to advertise on your behalf on their page, so that it doesn't water down by the time the feeds begin to scroll real time. You need to pin it at least for 24 or 48 hours. So that way your ad is at the top of their feed, and you can get the maximum engagement that is required. So this is just like a snapshot of how an acquisition strategy is determined for performance marketing campaigns. Anyway, it's deeper than this, but at the end of the day, you just need to learn the approach and have some insights into how to go about it. Now I want to talk about precision marketing. Precision marketing is pretty much a feed of your overarching strategy, right? But this time around, you are using customer data to send tailored messages to specific audience segments. So CRM can be top of mind, and because you are sending tailored messages to a certain audience bucket, and it is also determined to cross-sell and upsell. So pretty much precision marketing in another term is retargeting or remarketing. And the world is going cookieless now. So how do you want to keep tracking first-party data, when you want to get them? And how can you efficiently say, oh, this data is not duplicated, is not watered down? Precision marketing is just the way to go. So, but before you go and do this one, you have to ensure that by the time you are starting the ad or before you start the campaign, develop your tags, Google tags, Meta Pixel tags. Ensure that you send it to your clients, and whoever is the web developer or the back end of that website from your client side implements those tags across the key pages that you are going to be driving these acquisitions for. Because if you do not set up these tags, the Google and the AI engine would not be able to see who is actually coming to do what. And that way, your conversions will just keep going high, and you will not be able to record, the adequate data or results from your dashboards. So just let's keep that in mind. Now, going into the real thing, I've given us a background that before you develop a media plan, you first need to understand the brief from your clients. And in that brief, it's going to be having details of your campaign objectives, marketing objectives, the target audience, who did you want to reach, and everything and everything. Now, what is pretty much a media plan in these simple terms? These are the things that you need to consider. An effective and efficient media plan will result in a set of advertising opportunities that target a specific audience based on the organization's marketing budget. You might be fortunate that some clients might give you an open check, agency, digital marketer, consultant, or whatever your JD is. I give you a blank check. Just recommend the best forecast for me, because planning is actually forecasting. It's not what you have done, but the best way and approach to go about it is look at your historical campaigns in similar fashion, and there you determine what estimated engagements you are likely to get, what estimated CPMs or CPCs or CPAs you are likely to get, and what percentage of the target audience you are likely to reach. So when you consider what the ad needs, what is the budget, what are the conversion goals, what is your frequency, which I've initially mentioned, how frequent do you want to save these ads? Do you want to just block their faces by saving ads beyond a frequency of 3? What is your rationale behind using a certain frequency? And what is the reach? So how do you define success? Which are the KPIs that you're looking at? Is it based on clicks, impressions, CTR? Those are the basic vanity metrics that we all know over the years. But right now, clients are beginning to go deeper. They are beginning to test and learn how their creatives have performed, what worked, what didn't work, right? What are the VTRs? If you are doing a video campaign, what are the view through rates? What are the engagement rates? What are the conversion rates and every other thing. So 4 steps to consider in developing a media plan. Determine your media goals and objectives. Very, very important. Some goals could be sales driven, while others could be awareness driven. Some could just be, let's just capture data. Depending on your objective, you need to be very certain. Ask the right questions with your clients, get the right information from them. If you need to do a go-to-market research with your strategy team, get those first-hand information to understand the kind of target audiences they want to speak to. Then considering reach and frequency. It is very important. On Meta, for instance, you can set up your ads, as a roadblock for reach and frequency based campaigns. And it is always advised that when you want to set up reach and frequency based buys, it is good for product launches. It is good for product activations that are short term, right? So product activations are short term. Like for instance, you have an event happening today. You could have preset your reach and frequency campaign like 2 days prior, set the start date today, so that it's going to run for at least three to 4 days, and you're going to get the maximum impact. You could also determine to do brand lift studies. They call it BLS. So brand lift studies, pretty much gives you like a dipstick survey into how you feel the audience is going to react to your ad. This could be based on consideration, purchase intent, brand awareness, or perhaps, conversions. Then lastly, you need to analyze and optimize your campaign, performance. This hands-on approach helps you identify opportunities to optimize in real time. So for those of us that are very Google Ads savvy, you always know that the Google Ads dashboard will always tell you, oh, optimize your budget, increase, increase, increase. So sometimes when you click on that button, it will just calibrate, and at the end of the day, you overspend. But you need to actually go deep down and see the optimization suggestions for any programmatic campaign you're doing. Same thing on Meta as well. You could get suggestions on how to optimize your campaigns more efficiently, looking at the creatives, what is working, what is not working, your ad copies, your landing page. Is it affecting the delivery? Is it ensuring, is it your landing page that makes your ads get disapproved? Because whatever you are pushing, whatever product you are marketing, it has to be contextually relevant to the page. And at the end of the day, your bid model. So are you using a CPM model, a CPC model? What do you want to cap your CPC with? Do you want to just leave the AI to run it for you, autopilot? And at the end of the day, sometimes you get a higher CPC or higher CPM than what you've already envisaged. So these are the basic things to consider: objective and goals, target audience, which is very, very key, because target audience right now in developed markets, they start calling it audience planning. So before you even start anything, you need to do audience planning. And for you to do an efficient audience planning, for the Google side of things, you need to go to the audience planner or keyword planner, get your forecast estimates. For Meta as well, there's the audience insights, or Facebook audience insights. You can always get, your insights. There's even the audience planner tool where you can also get, forecast and rationales on how much you are expecting to get and the kind of results you are getting from that audience. Then you could also do A/B tests. If I'm doing a certain audience bracket, maybe broad versus niche audience, you could set up, an ad campaign or an ad set whereby your first one will be male, female, 18 to 35. That is your key target audience, right? Then you can now do another one, male, female, plus 18 to 65. That is broad. And at the end of the day, you set the same creatives, set the same budget, set the same, landing page, and watch how both of them perform. Maybe you can do that for the first 14 days, and that will give you an informed decision to go back to your client and say, oh, client, we did an A/B test for audience planning, and we discovered that our core target audiences didn't really engage more, but the one that we did for broad gave us more mileage. We suggest blah, 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 blah. So, that's how you inform, business decisions, and your clients can agree with you and say, okay, you know what, let us expand the audience buckets again, or audience brackets, and let's add some certain interests or parameters that can fine tune, your A/B tests. So those are the, optimization, techniques that you need to keep doing till the end of your campaign. Now, speaking about audience planning approach, 4 major things to consider as well. Your demographic, which is always in every brief. Every client has a demographic. They can have a primary demographic. They could have, a secondary demographic. But depending on which one you are looking at, you have to ensure you select the right demographic. If it's also location-based, some campaigns will tell you they want to do advertising only in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ibadan. By the time you are setting up that campaign, take those locations into consideration and add them, as a placement when you are doing your setup. So geographical data is very key. Audience, demographic is very key, even with the interest. So you are not just saying I want to target 25 to 45 B2B. What are the interest parameters? Are they into business? Are they business owners? Are they SMEs? Are you targeting CMOs, CEOs? You set those parameters right so that the AI engine can be able to calibrate your ads efficiently and target the right people. Then for socioeconomic class, these are also part of interests and topics. What kind of personality are they? Set that up as well. Then purchase behavior. What are your buying triggers? If you are doing e-commerce campaign, you have to ensure that you are tracking people that maybe they do seasonal purchases. You can track people that are frequent shoppers. You can track people that are very, very, very prevalent shoppers. Ensure that all these parameters are captured while you are setting up your audience targeting, because it's also part of your audience planning. And at the end of the day, if you imagine you selecting these 4 key parameters now, it gives you a certain reach estimate, right? So on Google, either you are using DV360, you could see the population estimates. If you are doing YouTube, it will show you YouTube population. It will show you, Google display population. It will show you search population for the certain metrics that you have, input. Same thing on Meta. By the time you are setting your ads on the right hand side, you get to see your potential reach. It can even give you your estimated daily reach, ranging from maybe 1K to 4K. So in your head, you already know, okay, if I'm doing 1K to 4K estimated daily reach, by the time I times this by 30 days, I'm going to get X, I'm going to get Y. So that is audience planning. And you have to, ensure you get it very right. It will even give you CPM estimates on, depending on how much you're about to spend. That estimate forecast is what you now translate, in your media plan. Right. Speaking about audience planning as well, there are still some audience targeting capabilities that you need to consider. Contextual targeting, which means you want to show your ads on sites related to your keywords. If you are doing a keyword related campaign for intent, predominantly paid search. For placement targeting, you want to show your ads to specific websites that you manually choose. So that's what we call manual placements for many of us that understand that. And for you to generate a manual ad placement, you can have an Excel sheet of your sites that you want to target. Oh, you are targeting a certain level of business sector. You know that they read newspaper a lot. So if you want to target all the online news websites, Channels TV, Punch, Vanguard, Guardian, and Co., Sahara Reporters, right? You profile those websites, you copy it, and you dump it while you are setting up your ads as managed placement. Remember, you can leave it as automatic placement and the ads save randomly. But when you are doing any form of automatic placement, also consider the device SKU. So device SKU pretty much means, are you targeting more on websites that are visible on desktop or mobile? Because if you do an automatic placement and you didn't check the setup of either mobile, desktop, or tablets and give a percentage, favoritism number to it. So take for instance, for mobile, you may want to do over 80% of your ads to show on mobile because by default, internet penetration is always more on mobile. And that will give you more mileage anyway than desktops. And the only people that actually see ads on desktops are majorly the people that have laptops in front of them. So maybe working class people and all that. But it's always advised to ensure that your campaigns are mobile led. If you want to do 100% on mobile, you get the 100% inventory on mobile where you're selecting your devices or device placements. And if you still want to drill down to the kind of operating systems or perhaps mobile OS that you want to target, you need to select if it's Android, you need to select if it is iOS. And if you want to still drill down from Android, determine the mobile phone manufacturer. So we know in Nigeria, the most popular devices are the Transsion mobile devices, right? Techno, Infinix, Itel. You still have Samsung as top of the line. So you may want to select those devices that your ads, can be predominantly, showing there. Now, for topic targeting, you can select different topics and interests. Is it art, entertainment, automobile, music, movies? So you need to add all these parameters based on your target audience, day in life. And geographic and location targeting is also very key. Where are you targeting them? Is it only for Lagos region? Are you doing a geofencing campaign? So this geolocation targeting is very strategic. Take for instance, you have an activation happening today at ShopRite, Ikeja City Mall. We all know that place, right? And you want people to see the ads, meaning you want people within that vicinity to see the ads, which means you need to select Ikeja environ as the proximity setup location for that particular campaign. Then you can even select your campaigns based on radius, whereby you can select the zone of how many people within that entire, it could be a combination of Ikeja and where is the closest place to Ikeja again, maybe K2 or so, that at least anybody within that area can see that something is happening at Ikeja City Mall. So those are what geofencing campaigns are all about. You are very, very specific down to the local government, down to the streets, down to the area, right? And your ads are only going to serve to people that walk into that vicinity. You're not blasting it, to the entire Lagos or to the entire, Nigeria. Right. For media planning strategies, there are definitely three phases. We already know paid, owned, earned media. We hear of this a lot. We've used it a lot. We've digested this a lot. So it's what we already know. But I'll just, try to give one or two pointers into how you can get the best out of your POE strategy. So for paid media, definitely you are using paid advertising and basically to drive awareness and traffic to your landing page. Then what are the media vehicles and tactics? It's a combination of both traditional and digital. So TV, print, radio, outdoor, anything you are paying for. Either you are doing direct placements, you are calling Linda Ikeji, she's not picking your phone, or you are calling Bella Nigeria, they are not responding to your emails. As long as you are paying them for tenancy, it's called paid media. Now, your own media are your brand owned assets, which is assets that are proprietary to the clients that you work for. It could be their websites, it could be their social media pages, it could be their microsites, it could be their e-commerce page, either on Konga or on Jumia, or it could even be their mobile app, right? So those are owned media. And you need paid media to drive traffic to that owned media to get end media. So end media pretty much means the results that you've gotten from your paid media efforts, getting your expanded reach, ensuring that people are talking about the brand, word of mouth, likes, comments, shares, reactions. Those are all end media. You used an influencer, for instance. Now influencer did the content, you did the collaboration post, boom, it gave you all the numbers. That is end media, right? And you'll be able to track your engagement and every other KPI metrics that falls into that space. So like I earlier mentioned, you use paid media to drive traffic to your own media to get your end media. So this is just pretty much showing us an expansion of what paid media strategy is all about. So it's the use of paid advertising channels to drive traffic and the overall message, and content. So you're using Facebook ads, you're using Twitter ads, you're using Snapchat, TikTok, paying influencers and co, and you are getting, the right engagement, either brand awareness, conversion, app installs, downloads, and all whatnot. Then old media, like I earlier mentioned, our current own media assets. You could recommend, some for some brands that don't even have any old media and they just come to you that they want to advertise. You need to recommend to them that they must have at least a landing page. And if you are very good at developing a website for them, you can develop a one pager. It will be a microsite as long as it has all the information about their products, their terms and conditions there. You can always commercialize that, for advertising and drive traffic there. Then same thing with their social media handles. You also need to recommend to your clients that they must have digital footprints. So we call it digital footprints. As an individual, you should have a digital footprint, except you are from Mars. And digital footprint means your own identity in the digital space. You have a Facebook page, you have an Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Pinterest, and all whatnot. So YouTube channel also is also one of the own media, and for brands that are into reach and frequency-based campaigns, especially FMCGs. I know a lot of FMCGs I've worked with, the likes of P&G, Beiersdorf, even Unilever. They do a lot of video, ads or video campaigns that, they are only specific about video, and YouTube is very, very big for them. So, in as much as some of them do some level of display advertising, YouTube is their core landing page. So they want to house all their content there. They want to grow subscribers, they want to grow views and engagements. That's where you're going to be taking people to. And for earned media, I mean, just like as it implies, right? Using the content that you've gotten from your paid media efforts and also amplifying it, to your target audience. So news coverage, news articles, all those blog posts, that you do, that you reach out to bloggers, you do PR push, those are your end media, anything that people are talking about your brand in the digital space. And for you to actually measure end media, it is wise to use social media tools, right? So there are some social media listening tools you can use to get social listening. So I believe all of us have heard about social listening. You want to know the word cloud, or word cloud as they call it, how many people are talking about the brand within a certain period. So if you are doing a strategy as well, you need to consider what people are talking about the brand online. Are there positive sentiments? Are there negative sentiments? Are there neutral sentiments? Then you now, ascertain that, okay, with this kind of tone of voice, it's going to drive brand advocacy, it's going to drive a lot of following, and we shouldn't go this route because it's going to cause a lot of backlash, and you have your PR team running helter-skelter to do damage control. So earned media is very, very good to analyze to inform your paid media decisions. Now, constructing a media plan. Like I earlier mentioned, you have to look at it from the top level, which is the business objective, understanding what the client's business objective is about. Where are they going? They can tell you their short-term plans. Oh, in 2 years, we want to be the number one FMCG. Oh, in 5 years, we want to be the number one payments platform. Those are business objectives. Now, marketing objectives, it could be, oh, we want to increase our market share by 75% end of year 2024. We want to increase our audiences or acquisitions. We want to get 1 million downloads at the end of the year. That is why you see a lot of fintech or martech companies run to platforms like Big Brother, right? They like to do collaborations with all these, shows, because that's the fastest way they can get these acquisitions in a short space of time. And once they hit those numbers, they go silent. You guys, Big Brother is starting very soon again. You will see who is the headline sponsor. There will always be a martech or a fintech company that is partnering because they want to drive acquisitions, they want to drive downloads. But remember, I earlier mentioned that the goal is not just to drive app installs or downloads, it's also to prompt for usage, because that's the continuity of the lifespan of that app. And that's where you hear things like lifetime value, customer lifetime value, and all those things. The ability for a user to keep coming back, to keep logging in. You are getting the prompts on your CRM that, oh, this user that has registered and signed up came back this week. Oh, he only comes back once in a month. How do you ascertain the customer lifetime value? There's a way they calculate all that. Then you do some level of precision marketing to them, which is retargeting, and you keep pushing new products to them. Oh, we noticed you signed up and you've not engaged. Take this 20% bonus and come back again. And those are the kind of communication gimmicks that are used to entice users that have lapsed or have churned for a long period of time to come back and engage with you. Then now your media strategy. And as a media agency or a media specialist, your goal is to consider these 6 options: the who, the how, the when, where, how often, and how much. So all your media planning should actually have this in place. Now, after considering that, you need to do a channel selection process when you want to start working on a media plan. Get some audience research. I know in Nigeria right now, data is very, very, very hard to come by. To get industry data is a challenge. But if you work for some global agencies, they have some proprietary tools that can help you with your research planning. They will give you insights into the digital landscape in Nigeria, what is the current internet population, what is the smartphone penetration, and all those things and all those things. I know some of us are used to the ones that we get from Data Reporter, we are social and all those things, social bakers and all. Those are good to have. But you know, data is also very, very key, and you need to ensure that your data is very precise to inform the kind of channel selections you are going to have. So factors for you to consider before starting a media plan. First, look at your past campaign performances. What campaigns have you run in the last 30 days, in the last 60 days, in the last 90 days? If they are into the same space, if that brand you ran previously is in the same FMCG category or fintech category, that's very nice. You can use that as a starting point. Okay, what was the average click-through rate that you got? Was it 5%? Was it 2%? Okay, like I mentioned, planning is a forecast. So this time you need to, be very, very precise with your forecasting. What was the buying efficiency that gave or that drove results for those historical campaigns you have? You have your dashboards with you. You could go into your Meta dashboard or your Google Ads dashboard or your programmatic ads dashboard and check for historical CPMs and CPAs that drove the right results. Who are the target audiences? You know, different brands have different target audience. You factor that in, and competitive considerations. You can need to also do a competitive analysis. Okay, for me starting this media plan, can I even go online and check what the competitors are doing? If you are handling a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, check what their competitors are doing. Yes, you might not get their media spends. You cannot even get their media spends, except you have somebody working there that will give you the, the proprietary data yourself. But you can envisage that I've been seeing these people's ads. I've seen this ad like 5 times today, which means they are targeting you at a unique frequency of 5 per day. That way, you can determine or forecast that if I'm seeing my competitors ads 5 times a day, times 10 days, times 30 days, that means for me to be a unique user and I fall within this target audience, let me go and do an audience planning. You go to your dashboard, you select male, female, 18 to 35. The software gives you, oh, you have a potential reach of 10 million people, 8 million people. You're like, okay, with a potential reach of 8 million people, and I'm a unique user that are targeting with an average frequency of 5. That means 5 times 8, they are looking at an average gross impression of maybe 40 million impressions. You know, things like that will give you insight into how you need to get the right metrics and the right numbers. So I'm going to do a practical for us. This on your screen right now is a digital media plan template. I know you guys have various designs, various concepts, right? But the goal here is to let us know what should be on your media plan. So for instance, you could see this sample digital plan format. The client here says, oh, it could be an awareness campaign, or it could say conversion, estimated web traffic, leads. So this is more of a performance related media plan. And you're like, okay, the client wants to generate leads. What is the target reach? Male 18 to 65. They want to do healthcare, da 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 da. You have that column on your plan, on your Excel. You need to first start with the publisher, which is the platform, Facebook, Instagram. What is the objective that you want to achieve on those platforms? Lead ads, because you're not doing brand awareness. What kind of creatives you want to use? JPEG, statics, video, you have a column for that. What are the formats you require? Is it text? Is it long tail, text? Is it short form text? Is it both animation or GIF? You have that column. Now you have your target reach column, and I'm going to show us. Stan, I need to uncheck this screen so that I can open another Excel. Just give me 1 minute.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, be careful. Don't show us your bank account.
So are you guys seeing a full screen now?
So you can see a spreadsheet. So.
Yes, it's a full screen spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, it's not a full screen, but I think it's okay for you to do your explanation.
Okay, let me see. Hold on. Okay, how about now? Full screen spreadsheet.
It still has the toolbar, the menu bar, but again, you can go ahead.
Okay, so guys, I just want to show us, some practical examples here. So this is how a media plan looks like, right? Depending on your style, you should have some things to consider. You have your summary sheet, which is here. Now, what a summary sheet pretty much looks like is it talks about the summary of what your metrics are. So if you are doing, for instance, a 3-month plan, at the top here, you should put your brand name, your campaign, your start date, end date, your PO number, if you have any other thing or any other basic information you want to put there. You can even have the brand logo that you are working with, in this open space. And your phasing, so if you are doing 3 months or 2 months, you need to have a phasing split, depending on the key KPIs that you want to look at in summary. But the media plan, gives the full breakdown. So you have here impressions, reach percent, engagement, and all formulated. Then when you scroll down, you have your media mix. Now, this media mix is a combination of your platforms. So you're doing for paid social, you're doing for video, you're doing for display, and you can now have a channel mix breakdown. So you see how detailed this summary sheet is. It's not just for you to do one small Excel and put one small, what they call it, column left and right like this, and just put planned X amount, actual X amount, total. Then you now put VAT, whatever. No, you need to be as detailed as possible. So what am I saying here? On your channel breakdown, as a summary, you can add the costs of how much you want to spend, on each channel here. Then you can now put your VAT and submit it. So there's a formula, you do your sum, you add everything up. And from this sum, it influences these pie charts that you are seeing here. So when you are doing numbers, guys, always graphically represent your numbers in charts to the delight of your clients, because that's the best way to understand your share of spend across your media mix. So you could see here clearly, I want to spend 26% of my budget on Google Performance Max, right? Which means I want to do an acquisition or conversion-based campaign. And I'm spending 25% on an online video programmatic channel, and I want to do 13% on YouTube. I want to do X% on another platform. So things like this gives you a breakdown. Then you can add your sum and your VAT. If you're an agency that have a service fee, you have to create another column, right, and add your service fee. You need to sum your net amount multiplied by your service fee. So if your service fee is 15% of this 43 million, for instance, right, you get that service fee, you VAT it, then you do your total gross. So this is how, this is an example of how a summary, media plan page should look like. Now, going into the plan itself, you will see your channels here broken down by months. The category, like I earlier mentioned. So your category is social, right? If it's video, you say online video. If it's display, you say display. If it's search, you say search. Then the platform itself, Google, Meta, whatever. Your activation, which means your deployment. Are you doing ads on the ad formats like Reels, Stories, and InStream? You have to indicate it there. Let your media plan be foolproof to your clients, and it's easy to read and easy to understand. What objective are you going for? Which objective, right? So, we talked about the audience planning. You could see in this segment here of audience planning, you see age 18 to 35, additional interest, blah, 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 blah. Now, you should have an audience insight sheet inside this your media plan. This audience insight sheet, if you see what I'm showing us here on Meta, you could see that on the insights column for Facebook, the estimated audience size is from 7.9 million to 9.3 million. You are doing ages 18 to 35. So now that 7.9 million to 9.3 million, you can take an average because it's an estimated audience size. You can either take the lower average or the higher average. But as far as this media plan is, the planner has taken the higher average. So you have to put that 9.3 million in this audience size column. Now, checking your historical campaigns, what frequency did you get? Maybe the media planner has seen that the last time he ran these campaigns, he got an average frequency of 3, right? You put, your 3 there. So how do you now determine your reach? Your reach pretty much is a function of the estimated impressions you are going to get divided by your frequency, right? It's formulated. In other ways, you can flip your media plan around. Sometimes your clients can say, I want to reach 70% of my audience. So if you are taking 70% reach, you have to do 70% of that audience size to give your target reach in numbers. This reach column, you can call it target reach. So you know that this 76% gives you 7 million people out of your 9.3 million, right? Now, to now get your impressions, as impressions is cost per, 1,000 impressions, right? So it has to be a function of your buying model, how much you are willing to spend as a CPM, multiplied by your budget, your estimated budget, divided by 1,000 or times 1,000, as you can see on my screen here. So for this particular Facebook ad that we want to do reach objective, the planner has already seen that the last time he ran a campaign, he got an average CPM of 125 naira. So he has already put that average cost as a fixed cost. Then for him to now get his estimated impressions, he has already gotten, the right calculation, and you VAT it. And you do that, for all your other channels. This is for CPM. And remember, your buying model has to be included in your plan. If you are doing CPA, you write CPA here, and the formula to calculate your CPA is different. So take, for instance, on this line item of Google Performance Max, because it's an acquisition-based campaign, you are measuring cost per acquisition, right? Your buying model here or buying method should be CPA. Then you are targeting 18 to 34. The same thing you need to do, you go back to your audience insights. On your DV360 dashboard, you need to go and check from your audience planner and capture the screenshots of male, female ages 18 to 34. You could see here now that for your digital population, Google is saying if you want to target 18 to 34, you are reaching 42.7 million people. But if you're going to be targeting a YouTube population,
I think Tunji is having some network issues.
you
Tunji, you're breaking up now. I think I'm losing you.
have
Tunji, are you back?
Stannis, can you hear?
Yeah, but you're breaking up quite a bit now. I'm assuming that's for everybody. Please let me know in the comment section, in the chat, if you guys, if
Me?
Tunji. I can hear you, but you are in and out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think it's stable now. I think it's stable now.
Okay, I think it's the rain that is affecting the network. Okay, so like I earlier reiterated, if you want to also do your audience planning for Google Display, you have to go through your audience planning insights dashboard, select your target metrics, your demography and everything, and it gives you the potential estimates, right? So for Google Display, the digital population for 2.7, YouTube is 13.3. You go back to the media plan and you add it under your audience size segments. Then it also gives you an average frequency estimate. So for instance, the planner has seen that its average frequency here is 2. So when you multiply that, target reach and frequency, it gives you the estimated impressions. So 3.2 million times the frequency of 2 will automatically give you your 6.5 million impressions. Then at a 25% target reach, because YouTube is telling you that you can target 13.3 million people. You don't need to target the entire 13.3 million. You just need to target a specific fraction of that entire audience that will give you the impact. So in this case, the planner has seen that getting 25% of that audience, which is 3.2 million people, at an average cost of 800 naira CPM, he gets around 5.2 million naira. So his budget is going to be 5.2 million naira. then you VAT it, and you do the summation. So you do your media plans month on month. It is always advised to do your media plan breakdown month on month. So you can see here now, this is for the month of May. There's a phasing column for the month of May. Then you do the same thing for the month of June. If you are doing 3 months, you have another one below for the month of July. Let your media plan also have a total submission column, whereby you need to, sorry, let me just keep on this. So you can see here now is a sum of everything that you have, right? Grand total. So this grand total of 264 million total audience, reach is a combination of the 2 months that you've envisaged. Then you sum it up. Have a grand total on your plan with your VAT elements. Then you now link those numbers, right? So you see that for the month of May, you had a total of how much? 22.2 million naira. On this digital summary sheet, you just need to do equals to, then hit the 22.2 million naira column here, and automatically that cell is formulated. It picks the numbers from the media plan breakdown sheets. So always ensure that when you are doing your planning, your digital summary sheets links to your media plan breakdown sheets. Then you also have to have, the audience insights, column, where you need to show your clients how you planned the audience. So in your media plan, please do not just cook up numbers. You could see here now that the numbers were not just cooked up, they were actually checked out on Meta, on Google, then that informed the decision. And if you are doing a third-party platform, I know a lot of us may not have access to all these third-party vendors' websites, Vela Naija, Linda Ikeji. The best way to get estimated audience size, you can use similarweb.com. SimilarWeb will give you the potential daily active users or monthly active users on those websites. And that way, you can get, an estimated number to work on. So take, for instance, this programmatic platform called Hunter Clay, they do a monthly average of 43 million people. So you get that, or you can even call the vendor themselves. That's okay, Eskimi, what is your monthly active users for ages 18 to 34 or for 25 to 65? Because they are the platform owners, right? They are the product owners. They will go to their own dashboard, query it, and give you the number. And that's what you need to put here in your audience size segment. So you see, one of the most important elements in your media plan are all these sections from here: audience size, frequency, target reach, showing your rate in percentage, impressions, your engagements, depending on what you want to do. So if you are doing a CPM-based campaign, your engagement here will be clicks. But if you are doing a performance-based campaign with a CPA model, your engagement is going to be your leads, right? Then you total it up and sum it up. Now, the final thing on your media plan, it is optional though, not compulsory. You need to have a target site placement list. So you see on the screen here, there is a list of target sites, site placement for display awareness. You need to target the top traffic websites in Nigeria. And from the category of blogs, you can see Linda Ikeji, Naija Gist, blah, 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 blah. This was kind of, taken as an exercise. You need to manually do this exercise and put it all together, so that if you are running a managed placement campaign, you can equally just copy all these out and paste it while you are setting up your managed placement ads. And the Google or the Meta engine just know that it's only targeting managed placement ads or any other programmatic dashboard that you are private to. So for some clients, they will ask you, we want to know the websites you want to target for us. If those ones are very, very detailed, you show them that, okay, clients, for blog sections, these are the top websites with good traffic. Goldmine TV, Lila's blog, Nairaland, Too Exclusive, Pulse, and all that. Then for news, which is very paramount for most sectors, FMCG, fintech, martech, financial services, and all that, these are the top websites in Nigeria. I can guarantee you anywhere. This is plug and play. You just copy it and paste it on your managed placement site list. They don't burn that ad well. You are going to see your ads. Why do you think some brands, their ads are just prevalent on Vanguard, on Punch, and you keep struggling and struggling with your CPM, and you're like, How did these people get to go about this? This is one of the gimmick, they use. They do manage placements, they set a fixed CPM, and the ads are only focused on those websites. So you see BBC, Punch, Vanguard, Guardian. Although some of these websites, they also go for direct placements. You can actually engage them directly. Some third-party websites, you can actually, buy their closed inventory, as they call it, closed inventory. So, most of these websites, they will leave small space for Google Ads to have, visibility, and they will now block every other, site, so that they can do, they can make the money off themselves. So that's what the Bella Nigeria does, the Linda Ikeji does, and all those blogs they do. They want to make the money directly. So they just leave small ad slots. If you want to if you want to smartly target those websites, yeah, just identify those ad slots on those websites. So take for instance, if it's a Bella Nigeria, it's a 300 by 250. That there's always a Google ad there on the home page. You could just go to your managed placements and type bellanigeria.com/homepage, right? Then for you to target that site, ensure that you have a 300 by 250 banner. And trust me, the AI is going to push that 300 by 250 banner to that ad slot, and your ad will be shown there. You won't even need to pay them directly and all that. So that's a smart way. Identify the dimensions or the banner sizes for all these websites that you are struggling to get visibility on if you cannot pay for closed inventory. Go through DV360 or any programmatic channel, Digital Tribe, Eskimi, Doches, and every other thing, and you get better value in terms of lower CPM and even perhaps more visibility, right? So that is a very good way to target or smartly target, manual placement. So you could see them: sports categories, tech news. If you are into tech, these are some websites you need to have, that you need to target. You don't need to be everywhere, right? LinkedIn and co, you need to have them. You can also target programmatically on LinkedIn, or you go through the LinkedIn campaign manager and buy closed inventory directly on LinkedIn, depending on your objective. If you're into real estate or you want to be generating leads, right? So you need to select your channels efficiently, get your audience insights section of your media plan clear. You can just take a snapshot and let your client know that, okay, on Meta, you have an estimated daily reach of 634K to 1.4 million. Your estimated audience size here is 2.3 to 2.7. You can take an average of both, or you take the highest, common denominator, which is 2.7 million. You see anywhere you see Instagram on this media plan, you will see that there's 2.7 million there. And you do your frequency calculation, reach times frequency to give you impressions. Then you get your percentage of your target reach. If it's 80%, 70%, you get your target reach in numbers. Then come to your bid from your historical estimates. How much does Instagram cost? Instagram is quite more expensive than Meta, like Facebook. So you may want to just look at historical campaigns. For this media plan, the planner has seen that 400 Naira has been his average, for the past couple of campaigns he has done on any Instagram post engagement ad or dark post ad he has done. As long as you are buying CPM, you put that fixed cost there. So it's now left to you to now keep monitoring the campaign and ensuring that the CPM doesn't go higher, because at the end of the day, when you are reporting your campaign, you have to show planned versus actual, right? So all these things you are seeing here is your planned KPIs. By the time you are reporting actual, you have to report planned impressions versus actual impressions, planned reach versus actual reach, planned CTR versus actual CTR, as well as your bid. So if you are doing CPA, CPM, CPL, how much did you plan? 400. What was your actual? 350. That campaign looks good because you got better value at a cheaper cost. That is it. You must always go lower or equal to, but not higher. Lower or equal to, but not higher. If you are, for some reason, you are getting higher CPMs than what you've planned, you need to go and recheck your analysis. It's either you've underplanned and you are over delivering. That's why sometimes when you see some clients, when they are doing their monthly review and they look at your actual numbers, you are getting 500 million impressions, and your media plan, you are telling them you can only guarantee them 20 million. If it's a client that really knows digital, they will question your planning capability. That means you really underplan for us to deliver this much at this cost. then you start asking, answering questions that you're not supposed to answer, on that call. So let's be very careful. Let's get our historical forecast right, get your budget right, ensure that all the formulas are formulating. Don't make mistakes with your frequency calculations, reach calculations. And when time you are summing up your budget, ensure that you are summing all the cells together. Some of you make mistakes, you just do equal to, and you forget that there's one cell missing. Remember, when your client pays for that campaign, you have already shortchanged yourself. And for agencies or individuals that charge service fee, in your summary at the top here, where you are doing your net, after your net, ensure you put your service fee, either 10%, 15%, whatever it is, VAT your service fee. Because remember, when a client is paying you and you submit an invoice, they will remove withholding tax, and withholding tax is around maybe 5%. So imagine you have to work backwards for the numbers to be exact, so that by the time you are getting your money, you are not complaining your client has shortchanged you or short paid you. You did not do your media plan well, because it's the total figure your client sees on your media plan that they will issue you a PO for PO-based clients, or especially those of you that are on the client side. You issue POs to your agencies, and your agency must not overspend on that PO. So, guys, you are working with client's budget here, working with real life spend. Let's be very careful. Let's be calm when we are planning. Ask questions if you are not clear. Do research. Check what your competitors are doing. Speak to the platform owners. What inventory can they guarantee you for the best value before you come and start putting your media plan together in Excel, right? So that's for now the practical session that we have on this, just giving us a few insights. Media plans can appear in various ways, but trust me, this media plan is a standard for any agency or any individual. You just need to customize it to your taste depending on your campaign objective. You are doing CPMO, CPC, CPL. Just ensure that whatever you are calculating is exact. And I'm still going to take us through the presentation. So Stan, I'm going back to the PowerPoint now.
That's perfectly fine.
So is it clear now? Are you seeing full screen?
Yeah, you're back in your full screen.
Great.
Let me just let you know that that practical session you just delivered was very impactful. The feedback in the group, the comment is
Oh,
really
I can't even
well,
see the comments yet because I'm presenting on full screen mode. Well, it's fine.
it's
Thanks,
really
guys. Thanks, guys. Keep it coming.
well
We still
done.
have the
Thanks
yeah.
a lot.
So we still have the question and answer sessions at the end. So let me just run us through very well. No reason to fear. You just, like I said, remember my first slide. If you want to do it, just do it right. That's the first thing that should just come, at the top of your mind. So we've seen this already, digital media mix. So you have to represent your spend in charts. And for reporting, I think maybe later if there's going to be opportunity again that I'll be coming to present, I'm going to talk about reporting. Reporting is one of the things clients complain about that a lot of agencies don't know how to do properly. When you are reporting on PowerPoint, don't do slapstick. Please do not do slapstick reports. Use Excel to do your summation of your data and numbers. Convert them to charts like this and put it on PowerPoint, because you see what you are seeing on your screen now is editable. If I right click now, I can always pop up the Excel and make the tweaks, and the charts will change according to how the spend is. Don't do screenshots. Don't go and do sniping too. If you're working for multinational brands like the Beiersdorfs, the Coca-Colas and Co., you don't show presentations where you are snapping screenshots. It's going to be bad PR for you guys. So please let us take notes. When you are doing image presentations, for instance, like you want to show screenshots of the ads, right? Get a very clear image. Don't do pixelated view. Don't go and download it on WhatsApp first, then come and paste it on your PowerPoint, right? We are going to talk about reporting later, whatever any time comes. So let me move on. Now, I've talked about the live action media plan presentation, yeah? So we good. And we are moving on to your campaign planning structure. So having said all this, your media plan is done. Oh, fantastic. You sent it to your clients. Your client has approved. Very good. You've gotten your spend, your budget, your billings and all. It's time to launch the campaign, right? So for this, you need to ensure you are planning your campaign structure properly in this format. Either you are using Meta or you are using Google, you can create and view your campaigns in any way you like. Your reporting, you can customize your reporting and you can export. And in this way, it gives you a clear view of how you want to actually see the campaigns you are setting up. So from the campaign level, right, number one step, from the campaign level, what objective are you buying? I'm doing brand awareness, I'm doing consideration, I'm doing post engagement, I'm doing video views. Click on it from the campaign level. It talks about the objective. The next thing you click on next, it now brings you to the ad set level, right? So from your ad set level, you need to have a naming convention because if you've named your campaign, let's give an example. Toyosi Nigeria Limited Facebook awareness campaign. Some of you just write the campaign name like you are writing a sentence or you are writing a story. Always ensure you use taxonomies. Now, what are taxonomies? Taxonomies are the use of hyphens to separate your campaign naming convention. So I want to start a brand campaign. Let me take, for example, Hilton Hotels awareness campaign. At the campaign level, when you are naming it, ensure that you don't do bold caps or capital letters, right? Ensure you are using small letters. You know why I'm saying all these things? If you are linking it to analytics, because you are using a lot of capital letters and special characters, it affects your reporting. GA will not be efficiently tracking your campaign at that level. So you have to say Hilton underscore hotel underscore. You can now even say if it's awareness that you set up as a campaign buying type underscore awareness underscore Facebook, small letters. Then you come to your ad set. You come again. What placements? Hilton underscore managed underscore placements. You see, when you do that, you know that you are setting up a managed placement campaign. Like that one you saw in the media plan. You copy out all those website lists and paste it there. Boom, you are done. You already set up your audience, male, female, agent, 22, 25, 55, blah, 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 blah. You set up your bid. Are you doing CPM impressions? Are you optimizing for impressions? You click it. Are you optimizing for clicks? You click it. Are you optimizing for conversions? Whatever your choice is, you do it at the ad set level. Then you set your budget. Your client has your media plan that your client has approved. Don't go and put your budget that has VAT on it. You are working with your net amount. Guys, please take notes. Because if you go and pick the budget that has VAT element on it, remember at the end of the campaign, when your invoice comes in, Google will see VAT, Facebook will see VAT. So you are double VATing and you are already overspending in quotes. So work with your net amount, which is the campaign spend itself. The VAT element is for internal reconciliations and all that and all that. So you know that you plan 2 million naira. If you add VAT 7.5%, it gives you maybe 2.1 million. It's not 2.1 million you put at the budget level. You have to put 2 million at the budget level. Then your scheduling. What post scheduling are you doing? Are you doing time of day scheduling? Do you want your ads to start from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight? Or you want it to start from 12 noon to 6 p.m.? Ensure your ad scheduling. One more thing again under scheduling that you guys need to also consider, brand safety. I believe we've all heard of brand safety and viewability control. Brand safety pretty much means where you are trying to protect your client's brand from advertising on or being shown on sites that are not brand safe. For instance, propaganda, politics, pornography, gambling, medicine, and all whatnot. Some clients, some global clients or multinational brands, they will even give you their brand guideline before you even start. So keep it at the back of your head that if you are having a brand guideline from any clients, ensure that you uncheck all those brand safety areas where their ads can show. You will see it on Google. You will see the section from even the levels from the campaign level. You will see everything when you are setting it up. Uncheck all those pornography and co. Uncheck it as an exclusion. They call it exclusions, which means you are excluding your ad from showing on those sites. Because if you leave it open, that is when the ad will be showing to a 3-year-old. And for brands that don't like showing their ads to people below 18, you have to ensure that age gating of 18 plus is sacrosanct, right? So Let's be very careful when you are doing ad scheduling. Consider the brand safety measures of the brand you are managing. If you don't know, ask the clients at first glance, oh, client, do you have any brand safety controls that you want us to consider? The client will say, I sure don't want my ad to show on here and here. Please take note of that. Go to the dashboard or whatever tool you are using and make it as an exclusion. Very, very, very important. Then the third level is your ads itself, where you need to upload your creatives, put your URL, your destination URL, your final URL. For performance marketers, you have to use some UTM links. You put it on the final URL suffix. There's a column there. You see final URL suffix. It's not the normal destination URL column. You have to click down and paste your UTM link there as final URL suffix. That way, analytics will pick the tracking for your conversions based on that final URL suffix. Then your creatives. If you are doing GIF, you have all your creatives in your folder from your system. Just open your folder where all your creatives are, 200 by 350, whatever. And we are doing responsive display ads. Ensure that you are using the right dimensions for responsive display ads. Gone are those days when responsive display ads used to just take anything. The likes of Google has upgraded now. So you need to go online or call your Google agency rep. Please give us the right dimensions for responsive display, because responsive display ads can work for performance marks as well. And once you've gotten the right frame, it's the same thing on Meta, right? Where they say 20% text, your creative has to be in that aspect ratio of 9 by 16. When you are uploading, you see some parts, it will cut off the top part of your creative, maybe where your logo is. So which means now that creative you are uploading is not to spec. So always tell your graphic designer or your creative team that they must ensure that aspect ratio, they should leave one by one. There's a list, it's online, right? You guys just need to check it. I know a lot of you have it. Ensure that 9 by 16 is exact. For paid social like this or Meta, you're asked to show on stories, you want it to show on those reels, you must have that 1080 by 1920 banner. It's like horizontal like this. Is this vertical or horizontal? I don't know. But you already know, right? So 1080 by 1920, 1920 by 1080, which is the reverse, 1200 by 628, and 1080 by 1080 are your standard Meta banners for you if you want to do dark posting. I'm talking about, like at this ad set level now, you can create your ad as a dark post. We are still getting there. Or you want to create your ad as the real sponsored post. When you are checking it, you can check the post that is already existing on the page that has been published. But if you want to do dark posting, which means you have to upload banners for it. These 4 that I just mentioned, guys, is sacrosanct. Your ads will fire properly because it's on brand, it's on spec, and it's going to deliver the right way. If you are missing 1 inch or one what they call it, the frame, 1 end frame, maybe ratio 1:1, it will not serve properly. It will just be distorted when the user is seeing it, on the screen. So let's take note of our creatives. Ensure you have the right creative. And remember, in the media plan, sorry, something was missing there. There's something we call a chase list, right? In your media plan, you can have a chase list separately. So for this planner now that I showed you the demo of the media plan, it has its own chase list separate. That chase list is a list of all the dimensions for each channel. So for instance, you have paid social, Meta, you put 1080 by 1080, 1200 by 628, 1080 by 1920. For Instagram, because you are going to do stories and reels, 1920 by 1080, 1080 by 1920, 1200 by 628, 1080 by 1080. So that is what the chase list is about. If you are doing YouTube, you need to say, okay, you need an MP4 video format or MKV format. If it is the duration, remember the standard spec. If you want your ad to perform well on any video campaign, whether you are doing in-stream or bumper, within 0 to 6 seconds for bumper, or you are doing 0 to 15 seconds for a proper in-stream. Recommend to your clients. For traditional media clients that they always do TV campaigns, they'll just give you the TVC format and you just go and dump it on YouTube. Your ads will struggle because that format is a long format. It's over 1 minute, 2 minutes, some are even 3 minutes. How do you want to run that as an in-stream ad? You have to tell your client, please, we need cut down YouTube specification versions of this video so that by the time you're uploading it in the creative ad level, the dashboard will just pick it, and it will know that it's on brand, it's on dimension. So when you are recommending any YouTube campaign for your clients, always recommend at least a 10 seconds cut or a 0 to 6 seconds cut if you want to do shorts or you want to do bumpers and all that. So let's take note. All that you put in your chase list, then you can send to your client. So when your clients see it, for some clients that have a full-fledged marketing team, that they have a in-house graphic designer, the in-house graphic designer, will now develop everything and will now send back to the agency. For clients that use creative agencies, is the creative agency's work. So that chase list will go to the creative agency, they adapt it, they send it back to the media agency, and the media agency deploys. Yeah. So this is the campaign structure you need to consider. Either you are using programmatic or meta. Let this be your flow. Now, how campaign objectives relate to business goals. We've already talked about some of the campaign objectives. For instance, you want to run an awareness campaign. This is the business goal. Reach most people to increase awareness. You want to do a traffic redirection campaign. So traffic redirection campaign is very good for performance. You may want to drive sales to an e-commerce platform like Konga and Jumia. Please use traffic objective. Don't go and use awareness, because if you use awareness objective for a campaign that you are taking people to a landing page where you want them to take action, the part where you're supposed to input the URL, the destination URL, will not be visible, because you except you have to now click on that button, then add it manually. But for traffic, from the get-go, you can see it clearly in the setup, and you set up your ads accordingly. Then the data sources that is needed. Remember, I mentioned for any traffic related or performance campaigns, always ensure you create your Meta Pixel first, your Google Pixel or your Google tags, send it to the client or the web publisher or the webmaster of the client that handles the back end of that website. They need to implement those tags. Once those tags are implemented, if you are on Google, you go to the tags and events segments on the dashboard there, and you will see whether it is beginning to fire or not, if properly set up. Otherwise, those tags will be reading different meanings for you on your report. Because from experience with my team, there's an FMCG brand that we ran a campaign for recently, and because of the website's construct, the tags that was set up on the website started counting for both the sign up, page views and everything all together. So, page view is different from registration. The goals on page view is just people that are viewing your page. Those are not the people that are filling the form and are signing up. So please don't go and report the wrong metrics for your clients. Page views metrics is just people that have landed there and opened and viewed the page. Maybe they stayed for like 3, 4, 5 minutes. It captured them. But for the registration itself, which means you are tracking that click now button, sign up button, register now button, or whatever CTA is on that button, then it's going to count as a sign up or an acquisition. So if you need to work with the web designer or with the guy that is implementing that tags, many of them don't know how to implement those tags. That's why many of you report wrong reports. And if you know you can do it, tell your clients you can help them out. For clients that allow individuals or consultants or agencies to work on their websites, if you have that opportunity. But get the pixel tagging right. And same thing for Meta as well. You can track for registrations, you can track for deposits, you can track for setting up many goals using your Meta Pixel, and it will automatically, show as a button when you are already creating your assets. Because you can always check your pixels setup on your Facebook Business Manager. There's a segment there where you can actually see whether your pixels are properly, set up or not. Then for engagement campaigns, that one is the simplest to do. You also want to promote a post that they've posted on the page. You want just to do post engagement. So you set up with the post engagement objective. You see, there are some mistakes some of us make here, especially when it comes to engagement. You want to promote a published post. Just because you feel, oh, I want to get rich or I want awareness, you now go and use awareness objective for that post you want to promote. It will still go as a sponsored ad, right? But at the end of the day, by the time you now open your phone and go to that page itself, that, oh, let me now see how many, like for instance, you go to the Instagram page and you see that particular post, you see that the likes are not moving. Have you guys experienced that kind of thing before? That I thought I promoted this post. It's not a dark post, but you see that the likes, 1 like, 10 likes, 3 likes, because you did not select the post engagement objective. So you have to select post engagement objective. The AI will calibrate to push the engagement and interactions to that post itself. So later now, you now start seeing that, man, 1,000 likes, 2,000 likes, 3,000 likes. Wow, that shows that the ad is actually serving on that post, on that particular post. But if you do awareness, if you just blast it for rich purpose, impressions will be very fat, but the engagement will be very small. Yeah. So let's take cognizance of these things. From experience, I've witnessed a lot of this. And your clients will say, guys, what is going on? Why are we having 100 likes? The campaign is almost over. We spent money now. We've done this thing for over 3 weeks. It's because you went to go and do another objective that is not post engagement. So make your clients happy. So the best way to go about this, let me go back to the previous slide. When you are trying to do a rich campaign for your clients and it's not dark post, you are not going through the dark post route. Set 2 ad campaigns from the campaign level, right? So the first buying type, you can use awareness. Set everything under awareness. That one will be optimized for reach and every other thing. You'll be blasting with your impressions. You can meet your impressions KPI numbers. Then you now have to set up another one for post engagement. So now you can say you are doing like an A/B test of 2 same ads with similar budgets but different objectives. So you see that post engagement second setup you've done is for your clients to now see that indeed those numbers are growing on that post. The likes has grown to 5,000. That is what they will see. But if you only use one line item and say you are doing awareness or reach, those numbers will not grow. So let's take note of that. Yeah. Now moving on, how do you budget and schedule your campaigns, right? So there's the auction option and there's the standard ad delivery option. There's also the accelerated delivery option, depending on what you want to, depending on what you want to achieve, right? So for auction campaigns, right, is by default, it controls your lifetime budget. You can set up a lifetime budget, or you can even set up a daily budget. But you see that daily budget, and guys, under your Excel media plan, like we saw, if you are doing a 1-month campaign and you want to break it down by daily budget, just look at your calendar, go to the calendar of your laptop, is on your tab there. Do the calculation from that calendar that, okay, this thing is actually 28 days. Because in our head, a month is 30 days, right? But forgetting that there are some months that they are 31 days. There are some months that are 28 or 29 days. So if I were you, if you want to do a daily budget, splits, calculate it from the start date under your laptop calendar. You will know the exact number of days because it includes Saturday and Sundays. So you don't go and lose guard. When you know that, okay, this is actually 28 days, divide that budget by 28. That is how you do your daily budget. But if you want to do the lifetime budget, you are just carrying and lifting your total campaign budget for that month and putting it as your lifetime budget. Then the AI will calibrate and it will save your ads, evenly. So that is, a smart way to deliver your ad budget control. Standard delivery is good for auctions. Accelerated ad delivery enables your ad to spend your budget as quickly as possible. You see this accelerated ad delivery. With experience, I've experienced a situation whereby, we're supposed to run a campaign, and for some reason, because of Akon and others, I believe we've taken trainings on this Akon vetting thing. You know how it's currently frustrating all of us in this industry right now. So the creative didn't really get the go-ahead from Akon on time. We lost almost 2 weeks of exposure. We've not started, and they just paid social. Only for Akon to now send the Akon certificate 4 days to the end of the campaign. As a smart guy that I was, I just went for the accelerated delivery option. You see this accelerated delivery option, you are indirectly telling the AI that, look, I have a very short time. The best way you can get results from this is to increase the frequency. So, from the media plan, you saw that there's an average frequency of 3, right? So meaning you are reaching one person at least 3 times, either in a day or in a week. Now, that accelerated option is you are saying now that because you have 5 days to go, you are going to use 5 days as your benchmark. Then you say you are targeting people like maybe an average of 3 in 5 days. You fix that frequency cap there. Or you can even increase it by saying, okay, I want to target one unique user 6 times in the next 5 days. That way, your budget is going to run. And a smart way of doing it, if you have a fixed CPM, because you are already pressed for time and your campaign is almost over because it didn't start on time, just don't put a fixed budget cap. Guys, don't put a fixed budget cap. It has worked for me. I don't know. You can always tell me, how you did yours. Because if you go and put a fixed budget cap, you find out that because you have a shorter duration, your CPM is going to go extremely high. Leave it. Let the AI calibrate. In some instances, you can get higher CPM, but it's justified because if you get a higher CPM for that remaining 5 days, you can always tell your client that because we did not start on time, there was no way you can even exhaust that entire budget. In most cases, you will not exhaust the budget. So there's no magic there. But at least you can exhaust over 60% of the budget. You do the right reporting, and you tell your client these are the learning and the recommendation. So when we start talking about reporting, there are some key elements of information you need to have on your reporting template. What did you learn from the campaign? What were the takeaways? What worked? What did not work? Then you can now tell your client that, look, I suggest that before we start running our campaigns, let us do account vetting 5 days before campaign launch dates. That is the standard. Get your account vetted for your assets, creatives, videos, whatever, at least 5 days, 5 business days before your campaign starts. Some clients, they don't have money. They will wait for that 1 week vetting. So if you know that your client doesn't want to do accelerated account vetting, just cost for that 1 week, they will wait. But you know that once you get that approval from Akon, you are good to go and you are going to set up your ads. So different case studies of experience scenarios we've all faced. It's just how you handle it and how best you manage your clients. That's good client servicing. Yeah. So what is an advantage campaign budget? I believe we've heard of advantage campaign. You see the option on Meta when you are setting up your ad, right? With an advantage campaign budget, advertisers set one central campaign budget to optimize across assets and continuously distribute budget to the top performing assets in real time. Long story short, you are telling this guy to help you push the budget to the best performing ad. Case closed. You are not stressing yourself. It's going to help you, align the budget the best way possible and save the ad in the best way possible. So advantage campaign budget is available for any objective. You will always see it, at the top there. It's mostly prevalent on Meta when you are setting up Meta ads, and it's best suited for campaign with multiple ad sets. So for some of us that we are into that will work on some FMCGs that they have a lot of plenty products. They have skincare, they have body care, they have lotion, they have this, they have that, and you set ads. You have to set your campaign alongside with the assets based on those product listing. It's easy and smart that way. You have a good structure. We've talked about the structure. Don't go and jam all your creatives in one ad set. You are running a lotion ad, a sunscreen ad, everything. You are jamming it under one creative campaign and one ad set. You need to separate it because by the time you want to start tracking for your ad performance, how would you know this one worked better than what? It has to start from the campaign level and not the ad set level. Yeah. So this is very good if you have multiple campaigns and you are just trying to, apply your lifetime budget across board. So it's going to distribute the best way possible. So for the ads that are not performing, just be rest assured the advantage, setup will just push ads to the ones that are performing. Then you can pause those ones that are not doing well. Yes, you can always pause them, right? Now, best practice for using advantage campaign budget. Use your ad set spend limits sparingly, right? So which pretty much means ad set spending limits are an optional setting you can choose to put on your ad sets for how much you can spend. So for all of you or for those of us that we are always loose guarding and overspending, and you have a track record of overspending client budgets, this is one for you. but it's a very bad habit. We need to stop it. We really need to stop. You need to ensure that you are capping your budgets. You are monitoring, despite the fact you cap it. You know, sometimes this AI, they used to have bugs. Have you guys experienced when Google or Meta has bugs, right? And for some reason, your budget just goes up, or your CPM just ridiculously goes up. You need to cap your spend budget on a certain campaign level to be on the safe side, right? Be aware of maximums. So take for instance, any campaign using advantage budgets can have a maximum of 200 ad sets. So for those of us that are into some martech companies or fintech companies, and there are a lot of products. Oh my God, take for instance, betting companies. Man, you have casino, you have virtual, you have sports, you have sport. Man, when I was at betting, guys, it was an experience, trust me. You will have a lot of ad sets and you are tracking everything efficiently with UTMs and everything. So if you are doing 70 ad sets or from 50 ad sets, it's okay. Don't go and over recommend to your clients, because some clients will tell you that I have multiple products I want to push. What's the maximum you can do? You need to tell them that for advantage campaign, you can have a maximum of just 200 ad sets, right? Although best practice is to have less than 70 assets. 50, actually, 50 is good. 50 is good, right? So then point 3, ensure that all assets in your campaign can be delivered. So if an asset is not delivering, or it isn't encountering any opportunity for results, right? If any of your assets aren't delivering, you can try to increase your bid caps manually, or you adjust your targeting. So if your assets cannot deliver, just look at how you've set it up initially. Check whether you got something right or you got something wrong. Yeah, and optimize and tweak. Some of you, because you notice that one asset is not working, you now pause it and create a new one. Bad habit, bad habit, bad habit. Just because you set up a new campaign now, you are not patient. You did not want to see how it's performing, or maybe that first week you see that the CPA is very, very high. Then immediately you now pause it, you now create another new one. And fortunately for some of us, that new one will now even perform better. It's still not good practice, because that one that you've paused, that has already learned over the few days, by the time you restart it again, or after making one or two optimization, it will start relearning again. Then that new one that you now created is going to be countering, they'll be fighting against each other. You get my point for exposure, because you have pegged the lifetime budget from the campaign level, and at the ad group level, you are now doing multiples. So it's always wise to check your optimization setting, reach out to your Google or Meta agency rep, tell them what the problem is. They can help you, look at it and optimize, and even recommend, best practice, solutions for you. You see, avoid pausing ad sets. I've not even gotten there. They don't already talk am. While your campaign is running, don't just pause for pausing sake because you feel it's not performing. Leave it. The least you can do, reduce the budget there, but don't pause it, because it's going to relearn again, all over again. And for the benefit of us that we use these campaigns for remarketing purpose, remember, the cookie jar is building. 30 days, 60 days, you are using first click conversion objectives or last click conversion objectives. It's going to affect everything in your analytics. For the fact that you paused it cascades, it goes all the way down. Your analytics will not start seeing it, and when it starts relearning again, it will start counting from 0. So these best practices is what we should consider. Then avoid combining assets with a large range of audience size. Yes, a lot of us are culprits for this. Please, when you are doing audience planning, save the audience list. Save it as male, female, 18 to 35 skincare solution category. Come back when you do body care category, save it as a custom audience. Don't combine it together and use it to run all your ads. It's going to affect the performance. Then consolidate campaigns with similar goals. So only campaigns that can only combine assets that have similar goals into the same campaign. Otherwise, it can be misleading and result in an inconsistent split of budgets. I've already spoken about that. From your campaign level, identify the goal, the campaign set, the budget objective, or the campaign objective. Is it awareness? Run it as an awareness all through. Don't go and create it as awareness. Then, by the time you are now setting up the setup or the campaign itself from the ad set level, you now go and change it or go and add another layer of it. If you know you are doing awareness-based campaign, leave it as awareness. Like I recommended, do awareness first. Then, if you want to do post engagement, create it anew from a campaign level, not inside it. They are going to fight against each other here, and you'll be getting distorted reports. Yeah, we've heard of marketing mix model, A/B testing, and the likes. So for A/B testing, we all know what A/B testing is, yes? So by default, compare and contrast different ways or models you want to do your A/B tests. You could do creative, you could do copies, you could do landing page, and you could do CPM or CPCs, right? And for your A/B tests, at the end of the day, you must derive a result. And based on that result, you recommend to your clients what worked, or what did not work. Okay. So, 1 second, guys. I'm trying to check my time, whether I'm still in time. Okay, back to us. So marketing mix models. This model can help marketers understand how to allocate a marketing budget.
Quick one,
Right?
Tunji. Quick
Hello?
one, Tunji. From a timing perspective, we are really, really off time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everybody, the interesting thing is everybody is still on the call. People are not dropping off, so obviously they're getting a lot of value.
Yay! So no churn rate. No churn rate. Yes.
Churn is very, very low. So at this point, we've just crossed the 2-hour mark.
Wow. Okay,
So
that's fine. The next few slides are easy peasy, but I'll still try to explain 1 or 2 things. Yes. So to implement your marketing mix models, you can work with a full service vendor, semi-automated tools, building house models, and all those things. You can integrate third-party AIs, AppsFlyer and co. that will also help you, calibrate. There are other planning tools that you can also integrate as third-party, platforms to your dashboard, to give you better marketing mix, ideas. So we talked about A/B tests. There are different ways you can run, A/B test campaigns. From a creative level, you can do 2 different creatives with different copies. So for some of us that want to do a proper creative A/B test campaign, you can have a copy that speaks about normal English, right? You can have another copy that does pidgin English or Hausa or any other thing. The goal is still taking people to the same landing page, but your hypothesis here is to identify how your audience are responsive to the tone of voice. You find out that the creative in some instances that you use for pidgin English really, really got high CTRs. So what is going to be your takeaway? Tell your client that, client, for the people that we are targeting in this Lagos region or Calabar region, they preferred pidgin English creatives rather than, English, just the normal English copy. So conversion windows, we've talked about conversion windows. We already know first click, last click, 7-day conversion windows. This one is going to actually help us, to attribute, our campaigns and identify who is actually, finishing the user journey, process from the point of when they've seen the ads, which is what we call 0 moments of truth, where they make their search intent, they go on search to know about the products, they see your ad once again, and they land on your page. Some of them might not really take action at that point, they knock off. So that will be a drop or a bounce rate, as we call it. Then you set within the course of that week, they see the ad again. Before they take that purchase decision, it might take 2-3 times for them. And once they click on that checkout button, that is what we call the last click attribution. So when we have done Google Analytics certifications, we know all these first click, last click, conversion attribution windows. So I'm not going to bore us with that. Viewability partners, yeah, we work with different, third-party partners in your agencies We have, besides Google, there are DSP, programmatic ad exchange partners. We know all of them. I believe some of them are on this call listening to me right now. Besides Meta, Facebook, DSP, programmatic ad exchange, you can have a combination of them in your media plan for better visibility, for better reach. Some claim that they are bigger than Google, some claim they are bigger than Meta. Well, the end point is use and recommend platforms that will give you value. I repeat, use and recommend platforms that will give your clients value and that will give you the right results. Shikina. Now, reporting. Well, we've talked about reporting now. Consider the following best practices for measurement and reporting. One, historical reporting. We've talked about it even for planning. Look at your historical campaigns that you've done. See what went down, what were the results, and that is going to influence your next campaign decision. So if you run a campaign and a certain banner dimension was not working for you, there is no point putting that banner dimension in your chase list for your upcoming campaign so that your graphic designer will go and put that same thing and you deploy again. Use the campaign or creatives and ad copies that you know that has worked. Have a flow. You could do periodic changes of your ad copies, maybe every 60 days. And for some of us that do always on campaign that lasts for 12 months, it's always good to do your periodic copy and creative sheets every quarter. It's recommended because the longer you use a certain creative or a copy for a long duration of time, it gasses out. And how the marketing peak buzz, when you start your campaign, it goes up like this, then it keeps coming down, then the sustenance goes on a straight line. When you are using an ad copy that is already lagged or fagged out, it drops performance, your CTRs become low, and your clicks become small. Then run lift tests. So that I talked about brand lift studies. Meta has a standard brand lift study setup. Google now also do brand lift study. You can do a YouTube brand lift study for consideration, for awareness, or purchase intent. Let your clients know how the audiences will be receptive to their ad when they start. Although Google one is very expensive, but for your clients that are willing to pay for it, you can do that BLS, for a start and give them the insights. It's very detailed. It gives you the insight. How many people have heard your ad before? How many people understand the messaging of your ad? What does the audience feel, about when they get, a sight and sound of your ad? Those lift surveys help a lot in determining how you're going to set up your audience planning for your subsequent upcoming campaigns. Now, moving on to optimization techniques. Yes, we all know this one. This is a sample structure of how your current account campaign setup looks like. For instance, the likes of GDN and Co and other programmatic platforms, they set up your campaigns, from an account level. Account level could be the name of your company or the name of your client, XX Nigeria Limited. Campaign 1, it could be Just Do It campaign, Happy Ending campaign, Follow Me campaign. So that will be the campaign name. Then your ad groups, start coming into it. So look at the structural frame of what happens in the background, and you can see there's a combination of keywords, text, interest, targeting that goes, in between. We already know what ad rank and quality score is. Many of us have done Google certification back to back to back, so I won't bore us with this, but the takeaway here is factors that you need to consider to ensure that your ad ranks properly on the search engine result page. The maximum an advertiser is willing to pay, and the relevance of your assets. So your landing page quality, your CTRs, and that's what gives you your ad rank. So formula for ad rank is quality score times bid, full stop. So definitely here, in digital, relevance is key. So how you're going to be optimizing for your campaigns, for instance, on Google, for you to get a very high quality score, you have to look at the click-through rates, landing page, historical performance, ad relevance. This ad relevance, I think it shows, on the creative section. You can set up custom, when you are doing custom metrics, you will see ad relevance there. If it's on number 1, that means your ad is very, very relevant. It shows in the first page of the search engine result page or something. Then your keyword relevance as well, how the search volumes, populate. For instance, you want to do a keyword planner, to use the keyword planner to get insights and ideas about the kind of keywords you want to use for a certain brand. Maybe they have very low search exposure. You can use the keyword planner. It gives you the search volumes and more ideas, and that way you can estimate what the average CPC should be for that particular search campaign that you want to run. So optimizing pretty much means looking at your keywords, your placements, the creative itself, which are your ad copies, headlines, body descriptions, what's the other one? Headline, body descriptions, and the long tail body descriptions, right? Some of them, they are just headline and descriptions. So it depends on the platform you are working on. Check out your landing page frequently and your bid management, which is your bid model or CPC or CPM. Now, I talked about how an ad copy needs to be constantly tested. So for creative agencies, it's always advised to recommend best practice to them. For brands, for some brands that have various KVs, as we call it, 3-copy variation is very good. A 3-copy variation is good. The first copy can have a human element. The second copy could just be text, and the third copy could be a mix of both. But trust me, from experience, creatives of videos that have real human elements tend to perform better. I may be wrong, but I'm speaking for myself here. So when you win a new account and the client is asking you ideas on how their creatives should look, recommend to them that they can have 3 variants. One with human elements, you have shorter stocks, you have all the stock images, they get a very good licensed stock bank, and put high resolution visuals there that appeal to the audience. Don't go and use Oyibo people in your creative. Akon will come for you, right? So follow the Akon guidelines as well and ensure that you are periodically testing and optimizing your campaign every 14 days. So it's a standard practice. 14 days after you launch your campaign, see how you can optimize it. Then the one that is not performing, pause it so that the money can be calibrated, or the budget can be calibrated to the ones that are performing better. So I mentioned that business to constantly manage landing page, you need to review it and test it. For those of us that are SEO specialists, you need to keep checking the websites, what is crawling on the sites, check the backlinks. If there's a broken backlink, you need to fix them, and every other SEO recommendations that you know. Ensure that it's functional and it helps the page user experience, faster loading time, a good combination of images and videos, high resolution, text, good color palette usage on the website. Those are all the things that make a very good landing page and more. Now, we've talked, that is everything about media planning. Media buying, yes, a lot of us love this part of the business because you are not doing the brain work in quotes, because planning and strategy is where the real brain work comes in. But media buying, you are just executing, right? So in a nutshell, this is the role of a media buyer. Your job is to reach out to the vendor or the media partner. You negotiate the deals if you want to have discounts or rebates. Issue the media contracts. Some agencies call it media purchase order, MPO. That MPO has details of your campaign brief, the budget, target audience, the spend, and every other thing. Then you pay the media partner, depending on whether they are a prepayment vendor or a post-payment vendor or whatever negotiations you've had with them. Then they place your ad on their website. You call Lida Igeji, she picks a call, she's happy with you, you've prepaid her, she deploys your campaign. The same thing too with programmatic platforms. So they are media buyers, right? You are just dealing with an AI. So you just set up your ads and it runs. As long as you input your budget, you are good to go. If you are on a 30-day invoicing model, you get your invoices at the end of 30 days. If you are on a credit line model, which is very, very good, I advise agencies to always ensure that they partner with likes of Meta and Google to have a very good credit line. Your credit score increases based on how frequent your volume of investment is on their platform. That's it. Now, a day in life of, I put the word hybrid planner and buyer here. I know many of us that have had experience with agencies. you are the planner, you are the strategist, you are the buyer, you are the compliance manager, you are everything all in one. Yeah. But now, marketing agencies or digital marketing agencies are beginning to understand the specific roles of what a planner should do versus what a buyer should do versus what a strategist should do and versus what a client service person should do, right? But all encompassing, this is your day in life as an agency person. If you are within an agency or as a media planner and buyer, you receive the brief Q&A, you set up your campaign taxonomy UTM links, you submit for trafficking. If you have an external ad ops team, trafficking, they will traffic your ads for you. They'll build your campaign setup on your dashboards. You get quality assurance or quality approvals. Your creative URL, they ensure that you sent your media plan. Is it approved? Yes. Your creatives, is it approved? Yes. Your URL, good? Yes. Your budget, check. You go live with your campaign. You chase the vendors or look for screenshots, put a report together, POE report. So guys, when you launch a new campaign for a client, after 24 hours, it's ideal for you to send a proof of execution report to your clients. It's just screenshots. You are not putting numbers. They are not expecting numbers yet because the campaign is still learning. But go to the website, go to Vanguard, Punch, search for screenshots, load everything based on what the elements on your media plan. If it's paid social, look for Meta screenshots, look for Instagram screenshots. If it's Twitter, start looking for the screenshots. Put everything as proof of execution. Because some international and multinational brands, at the end of your campaign, during the compliance and billing stage, they use those proof of execution before they pay you, because that is actually where they are looking at that. Did you actually serve our ads in areas that you proposed on your media plan? If yes, pay. If no, we are not paying. IAS or brand safety, I've talked about that. Some international clients, they have partnership with brand safety companies like Integral Art Science, that's what we call IAS. Some do DoubleClick Campaign Manager, some do Moats. I bet you guys have heard of Moats. So if you worked on the Unilevers, the Friesland Campaigners, and other multinationals like that, they use this IAS to track. They will not tell you. So if you have promised them, I want to give you 6 million impressions on your media plan, and at the end of the day, you came back with a report, I did 8 million impressions. Yes, on paper, you've done well, you've over-delivered. But you see, the function of these brand safety companies or checks, they will now have to check whether those impressions are actual human impressions or bots. A lot of our ad exchange servers serve bots, and it counts as impressions. So these guys will now cross-check the numbers or reports from your dashboard. They link it to your Google dashboard and Meta dashboard. It's an integration. So as your ads are running, it is also doing, it's just like media monitoring service, as you guys already know. So these guys are the digital media monitoring service that you know. They check if your 6 million impressions is confirmed and it's humans, which means it's actually humans that saw it, then you are good to go. If it's not, they will send their own reports to you, their own monitoring reports to you that on Google, you did 6 million, but our software tracked 3 million, which means 3 million are unwanted, bots, or they are fake impressions. And they will prompt the client to only pay for that 3 million impressions. Yes. So be careful when you are working with multinationals. They are smarter, they are way ahead of us. That's why it's good for the benefit of us that have gone for Cannes Festival, Cannes Lions, and all those things. You hear the kind of case studies that they bring to the table, best practice approaches when you are running digital marketing campaigns, and you need to bring that home and imbibe it in your day in life so that it's going to make you, a better planner or a buyer. Then you need to do your campaign optimization after 14 days, bi-weekly. Then depending on your reporting model or agreement with your clients, you can say you want to be sending your clients weekly reports. Some clients, they will send you daily reports. So for those clients that like daily reports, you know what? For peace of mind, just give them view-only access on your dashboards. Google, Meta, give them view-only access. Let them log in anytime. Let them see it real time. Then if you know that you are also having third-party placements like other programmatic exchanges on your media plan, create what we call Data Studio or Looker Studio dashboard. Some of us know how to do this very well. Integrate your Google integrate your Meta into your data studio. Send that link of your, it's just like a Google Doc link. When they open that data studio feeds all the reports from your dashboards and your ad exchanges in one place. In fact, that's the smartest way you guys can do reports and sleep with your two eyes closed. You don't need your client chasing you when you're on the road. I need this report now. I need this report now. Just send them the data studio link. Your own job is just to ensure that you are inputting the data from your third-party vendors manually and it's up to date. It will reflect there. It will just be like a normal Google dashboard. And I've experienced when I was at BetKing, standard ways of how data studio dashboard, it even looks more beautiful than your normal Meta and Google. Some people, they are very good at designing and developing data studio. So guys, go and get certifications on Google Data Studio or Looker Studio. Learn how to create real-time reports. It's going to save you a ton of pain, so to speak. Because remember, these brand managers from the client side, they report to their head of marketing or CMO. And in their weekly meetings or board meetings, they say, okay, what is marketing team doing? Because I've also worked on the client side. When I was at Allianz, they will say, what is even wrong with marketing? What are you guys doing? You know what I just do? I just open the link and boom, they see charts, they see pack chart, buy charts. You can design your data studio reports in any way you want. As long as it's feeding your Google campaigns, Meta campaigns, and every other campaigns, they are seeing it at one glance. So that's reporting, guys. Then compliance and billing, which means at the end of your campaign, you need to give account of what was spent. You send your invoices and every other thing, collect it together, send to your client. For clients that have a standard procurement process, they process it based on the PO they've issued to you and they pay your agency, right? So digital metrics is that you need to be conversant about for buying, right? We've talked about CPM. This is the most prevalent model. This is the formula. So if you are not clear on how to calculate formula, that Excel media plan that I showed you is, it contains all this. You want to do a CPC campaign, cost over clicks. You want to do a cost per view, spend over views. You want to do a cost per engagement, spend over interactions. You want to do a CPA, CPL, spend over transactions, right? CPM, spend times impressions times 1,000 or spend over impressions times 1,000. How to calculate your click-through rates? Your clicks over impressions times 100% because you are measuring click-through rates in percentage. Yeah, and these KPIs and formulas work for the following objectives: awareness, social interactions, engagement, and every other thing. So these are the standard formulas for a basic or base plan media plan. Now for paid social, some of us, in terms of setup, we have different approaches, but there's a difference between doing dark posts and organic posts. You've been hearing I've been mentioning dark posts. So dark posts is a standard social media post promoted with paid to a specific audience, not visible on the feed, which means you are not linking that particular promotion to that organic post that was published on the Instagram page or Facebook page. I gave you that example that's when your clients will say, this clicks is not moving on the Instagram page. You are still having 100 clicks. It's because you did a dark post, bro. But if you do the normal organic post boosting, you optimize it for post engagements, and that is how the numbers on that particular post or video, you now see 3,000 views and whatever views on the post itself. So that's the difference between dark posting and organic post boosting. Dark post boosting is good for reach and is good for awareness. Organic post boosting is good for post engagements or interactions. So let's take note of that. So recap on paid social prioritization and recommendation. The first thing you need to consider is your post part of a campaign or a tactical activation. If yes, do that post. If no, ask again. Do you want real-time amplification or you just want an exclusive, post promotion based on what is happening on that event? If it is yes, do organic post boosting. If it is no, do dark post boosting. This is just the basic way. You can do it in any way depending on the activation or the promotion that you are pushing for your clients. But you have to have what they call gatekeeping. This is like a gatekeeper for you to consider whether you want to run a post promotion, organic post promotion, or a dark post. This is like the gatekeeping mechanism you need to consider, right? Now, This part, I'm going to rush this part because it's very, very detailed. Operational and implementation processes. So for many of us that are still aspiring to have agency experience, this is an opportunity for you to know what goes on in the advertising agency, right? By default, this is how the operational chain looks like. You have your clients, which are your brands. You have your agency. They are the middlemen between the clients and your media partners. And your media partners are your media vendors who advertise on behalf of your clients, on your behalf as well, right? Now, the agency is always at the core of the operations as they render services to both parties. That's already a given. The next slide here pretty much shows a marketing department team structure. Whether you're on the client side or you are on the agency side, some agencies, they operate like clients. They set up their team specifically. While some agencies, they will hire one person that they'll be paying one person for 3 people's salary. So you are the media buyer, media planner, strategist, and social media person at the same time. You want to die. So guys, if you are changing job, consider this structure. During your interviews, ask the right questions. Do you have a structured marketing team? If you are crossing to the client side, for those of us who have not gotten client side experience, ask so that you know the workload you are going to face when you get there. Money is not everything. No. Your peace of mind and mental health is. Imagine one person doing the work of a strategist, media planner and buyer, SEO, and social media manager. How do you want to be creative? How does your brain want to function when you are taking all these responsibilities? Some agencies are structured that way, but now the best way is to split the responsibility. Let the client service person or business development person take the briefs, do the client visitation, interface with the clients. Then when they come to the agency, they disseminate the brief, the strategist picks it up, calls for a strategy session, all of you brainstorm, then media buyer planner gives his own input, social media person gives his own input, SEO person, if there's a website management leg to it, you do your own part and everybody puts their strategy there. That's what makes one media strategy document, the combination of everybody here. Now, how does the process work from the client's briefing phase? I'm just giving an example. The client sends to the agency, and the agency client service directors or business development person picks the brief, and for a creative brief, you reach out to the creative or art director. They talk about the art direction, the communication strategy, and every other thing. Then they can now expatiate, and every other person within the chain, which is the product managers, social media copywriters, they are all in that room to distill the brief, right? Now, you come here again, you see that, okay, for the brainstorming session, who are the people that you need in the room to break down a brief? If you are doing a 360 marketing campaign where the agency has to develop the TVC, mood board, storyboard, and every other thing, you need the creative director and the art director in that meeting from the creative department. Then production manager for logistics. Then you now have your digital strategist, media strategist, and every other person in that room, right? Now, this idea, shows how, everybody is going to pick their deliverables and execute. Now, the next thing is, after your first draft, you need to create a first draft. By the time you are distilling a brief as an agency, the client might give you a timeline. You might be pressed for time, but agency, remember, you are still the agency. You have your standard practice. You can say, clients, our first draft will be after 7 business days, after 10 business days. The client has to adhere, and they wait for you guys to put your first draft strategy document together. Then you guys send it, to the clients. So after you've done that, upon the client approval of your strategy, then this is what now happens. The holistic media plan is developed. So media strategies, digital strategies, social media manager, all encompassing, now start coming up with their plans. So from the media side of things, you need to put your media plan together. From the creative side of things, you have to start talking of your conceptualization ideas, your mood board and everything, which I've already talked about. You put your team structure costing together and you send to your clients. Then after that, upon clients approving that marketing plan to kick off the campaign, these are the standard practices. The first thing is, agency should receive and test all execution materials firsthand before launch. Meaning, whether you have videos or creatives, before your launch date, if your launch date is next week, ask your client to share it with you, or if your creative agency is ready, upon Acon vetting, ensure that you test your assets. Go to your dashboard, do tests. Make sure that the ads are approved. If it's not approved, if there's any issues with the dimension and creatives, you can always push back to the creative agency to rework and every other thing. Then when it's time for you to set up your campaigns, you need to tell your clients, please, we need 24 to 48 hours because the ad needs to get approved. And after that, if you are doing third-party engagements, call your media partners like I talked about, issue them your MPOs, send all the materials and the briefing, URL, creatives, target audience, be as detailed as possible when you are briefing third-party vendors, because if you brief them wrongly, they'll deploy your campaign wrongly for you and you will not be able to meet up with the KPIs. Then you share proof of execution, like I said, screenshot proof of execution after 24 hours. Then after that, you wait for your biweekly reporting. So how you now respond back to to your clients, everybody, there's going to be one reporting document that everybody needs to feed into, right? So once you do that, you arrange a meeting. Some clients, their meetings are via virtual, some you have to go to their office. For those as proud clients in quotes, now those ones they pay you plenty money, you go and meet them in their office. Whether you're on the island or you're on the mainland, you go and meet them. Rain is falling, there's flood, you go and meet them because they're the guys paying you. So you have to do your weekly meetings with your clients. You could pick any convenient time of the week, for you guys, and boom, you engage. So when it comes to reporting, these are the few things you need to consider in your reporting templates. First and foremost, your first slide should talk about the background of your campaign, snapshots of the target audience demographic. Remember in the media plan, on that target audience side, you saw the snapshot of Meta, you saw the snapshot of Google. You need to put that on your report. What are the KPI summary deliverables? On your media plan, what is your plan versus actual? Plan impressions, plan clicks, plan whatever versus actual. You are doing weekly report now. So what have you gotten in the last 1 week? What have you gotten in the last 2 weeks? Then it's a monthly report. The same thing. You have to do collective. Screenshot proof of execution on YouTube. How did you see an add-on as in-stream? Capture that screenshot. Tell all your team members, watch out for screenshots. If you are in a group chat, be dropping your screenshots there and be picking it and be putting it in your report. Then you now have to do reports on top performing creatives, top performing websites. That managed placement website I showed us, some of them will perform better than each other. So you have to recommend the top performing ones and the not so performing ones. Then for social media campaigns, if you are doing post engagement or whatever, you have your Facebook audience insights there. You can always pick organic numbers from there. And for your paid media, you go to your ads manager dashboard, you pick it from there. You have to report based on all the KPIs you've promised your client. Nothing must miss. Then if there's any form of analytics reports for all of us that have social media tools, you need to do sentiment analysis. Remember I talked about this. Earned media, we talked of paid media. So all what you are doing now is paid media reports. Your own media, you already know that is the landing page. Now you need to give earned media report. That's where sentiment analysis, word clouds, website, whatever, go to Google Analytics, pick the sessions, average sessions, new users, existing users, bounce rates, and other metrics they can pick from Google Analytics. Put it there. If you are doing an e-commerce performance-led campaign, you need to track the goals. Go to the dashboard on GA, go to the goal settings. How many checkouts have you seen? How many events that you set up? Put all that. You can even put screenshots of that this is proof that the ads were really serving, and how many sign-ups you got, how many app installs, and all those things. Then break it down by your top performing targeting models, interest topics and keywords. What are the interests that perform well? Is it art and entertainment? Is it music? Is it sports? Capture that screenshot and give a note that from our campaign, you give a recommendation. We learned, that's a learning, we learned that the audiences were more skewed to sports and whatever segments. So which means we recommend that blah, 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 blah. So you have a takeaway slide that talks about your learning, your recommendation. You also have one slide before your final slide that talks about your budgets. So, at the top, you've talked about KPI summary. Budgets will not be there. But in your last slide, you have to now show working of how you spent their money. On Google, I planned 3 million naira. Actual, from the dashboard, you pick the number from there. I did 2.8. Oh, I did 3 million on the dot. Remember, it has to be lower or equal to, but not higher. If you overspend, you will pay. So that is it. This is a standard reporting template flow. You can see it's just 12 elements. You can have lesser than 12 slides. You can have 5 slides, depending on how you want to customize it, but capture the right reports for your clients. Then for compliances, there's something we call compliance. Many of us may not really know this, but as a business or as an agency, you need to do a compliance. And now that compliance pretty much means is the function of the media buyer who wraps up all the reports. You get a collation of all the invoices. So Google will send you invoice at the end of the month. Facebook will send you invoice at the end of the month. Your media partners that you've reached out to, Linda, AKG, all of them, they will send invoice. You collect that invoice, have a cover letter or a cover draft with a summary of how you spent the budget. Then your agency will now put a cover invoice for the total spend based on what was on your media plan, and they'll package it and send it to the clients. Now, some clients, in the days of old, you have to dispatch it with dispatch rider to your client's office. But now, most clients are using ERP tools, they are using softwares, they have procurement ERP softwares. What you just need to do is all these PDF copies of all these things that I've mentioned, cover invoice, your media partner invoice, Google, Facebook, everything. You just attach it and load it on the client's ERP software, and it accepts. That is how their finance will pay you guys. Oh. And you have to put the screenshots and your reports there as proof of execution. Because remember, there's something they call auditing. As a business, auditors will come. Your clients will tell you that we want to do audits. So if something is missing from your reports, your agency can be fired because of that. So please be very careful. For auditing purpose, take this requirement as sacrosanct. Otherwise, you put your MD in trouble. So let's do the right thing. Your finance guys, submit all your invoices to your finance department. Let them do all the collation. It's not your job to do finance work. Just do your own part and pass it on to them. They close the final compliances and send to your clients. Then we talked about brand safety. Don't advertise for your clients on websites that are not brand safe. If your client says they frown at ads being shown to toddlers or to kids, please ensure that during your campaign setup, don't target people or parents with ages of 0 to 3. You know, most of these kids, is the tabs and phones of their parents, they get exposed to these ads, right? So you do exclusions when you are setting up those ads, content exclusions, profanity, suggestive, whatever, remove them. Because, like I mentioned, some of these clients, they have brand safety companies like IAS and Co. They will be the one that will cast you if you know, if they really detect that you are not advertising on, or you're advertising on non-brand safety websites. So you want to win the kind of Unilevers, you want to win the kind of Guinness in your agency, the telcos, the Airtels, the MTNs and Co. They are very, very strict on brand safety. And because of that, you as the digital media planner or marketer or buyer, you need to ensure that when you are setting up your ads, don't go and save your ads to gambling sites or to clickbait sites, as we all call it, just because you want to ramp up your acquisition numbers. When IAS people track it, they'll know that it's bots. Most of those betting ads you see, they're always clickbaits, links. Some of them, they are genuine, some of them, they are not. So if you are advertising a product, then for medicine, guys, I know some of us have contracted influencers to be pushing drugs, not drugs. I'm not saying cocaine and co. I'm talking of medicine. Like you see a lot of ads on Instagram. They advertise all these performance enhancing drugs and all those things. You guys need to be very careful with who you engage, so that your agency will not be in trouble. Because if Akon sees those kind of ads, they will slam you guys very big billing that it will be hard for you guys to come out of. So when you are recommending influencers for your clients, please don't say because the influencer has 10 million followers, that is the best influencer that engages with your audience. Know the kind of product you are marketing, know the kind of influencers you are engaging, because now they are going to start going after influencers. So you want to engage one of them now, brief them properly. If you need to give them a brief that they need, or script or whatever, fine. And if it's the one that you want them to get creative, vet it with your client, vet again before you publish that post or before you do that collaboration post. Okay, so that is best practice. And this slide pretty much talks about the tools you need to know and the tools you need to use as an agency or as an experienced digital marketer that we call ourselves. For audience measurement, right? You can see Google Reach Planner, Facebook Reach Planner, and all that. If you are working with global networks like OMD, WPP, they have their own proprietary audience measurement tools. Like for instance, Group M is under WPP where I work. Something they call Audience Origin. That one will help you with digital landscape data, penetration data, market research data, and all that. We know Nielsen, we know Moat. Moat is also good for brand safety and whatever tracking. You want to do traffic and consumer insights, there are tools like Crimson Hexagon, Audience Insights, Google Analytics, and the likes of them like that. You will see everything. There are even more that I might not be here because there are thousands of tools you can use for your competitive analysis, Mentionlytics, social bakers, depending on what you subscribe. Just do what works for you and do it right. Like I earlier stated. And once you have these tools, you are solid, right? Because one of the things that a client will want to work with an agency is their ability to use tools. Isn't all these are pitch requirements? Ability to use tools, global standard related tools, technical know-how on analytics and consumer insights. So, guys, if we are just used to doing brand awareness, go and start learning performance marketing because the world is really dovetailing to that side of things right now. The most sought after digital marketers right now, even for all of you that have Japa, you get there, you find out that is performance marketing they are doing. Go to Canada, go to UK, go to US, you get good jobs there. It's performance marketing, it's no more vanity metrics that they are measuring against. So if you don't even know how to create events, create UTMs, and all those basic things, go and learn. There are a lot of YouTube videos. You can take some certification courses, or attend master classes like this, practical ones, and you get to know all these things. It's going to make you a better digital marketing professional. So that being said, that comes to the end of my, what they call it, TED Talk. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Questions time. Adios. Stan, over to you.
I don't even know where to start, man. I don't even know where to start. We have media planning and buying 101. And Tunji has delivered a master class on how to start and run your own agency, pretty much. This is 3 solid hours of top quality digital media planning and buying. Really, really top quality. What I personally like about your session was you did not even play on the surface. You actually went deep, went into an Excel sheet, showed people how to plan, how to compute. I think this was super, super exhaustive. This is one of the stickiest sessions we've had. People are not leaving. I'm just going to read some of the comments. The comments are, the chat group is going crazy. Super exhaustive. Kudos, Tunji. Thank you, Tunji. Well done. My end up.
Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
So this was a master class, not a 101 anymore. This was really, really comprehensive. And I'm so happy that unlike some sessions that we don't record, we actually took the initiative to record this. So this is fully recorded. And this recording, we're going to guide it so much. Anybody that wants this recording will have to pay us for it before we give it. I'm just
I think
joking.
they should.
I know the pilots now. Tunji, thank you so, so much. This was fantastic.
Okay.
I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions. We are approaching 3 hours, guys. We have about 9 minutes more. I think so that people can go and live their life. We'll go and take a couple of questions. But the good thing is Tunji is going to share a slide. We're going to also have access to video. So when you have time, you're able to also play this back. Do we have any questions? I'm happy to unmute anybody that has any questions. Okay. I see Shadrach has his hand up.
Okay.
Shadrach, how many of you now want to ask questions? Richo, You people who have Tunji's number in the group, so a lot of you are going to have to reach him directly. But I'm going to start with Shedrack. Guys, just ask your question, one question, and be very, very direct and fast. Shedrack, the floor is yours.
Hi, Shadrach.
Shedrack, we can't hear you. I've unmuted you. You can talk.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead with your
Hello?
question.
Yeah, I can
All
hear
right,
you.
I think so you already addressed it. You already addressed it. You said this to be shared. That's what I wanted to ask. And also to just say thank you very much, Sunji, for this masterclass. It is
You're welcome.
very content. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Deck will be
Yeah, I'm
shared.
with you guys. Anybody?
Deck is we shared, but we will verify who has not paid their annual dues before we share it. So the floor is yours as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tunji. This is Chinonso from FC.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Yes, so
Thanks for
thank you for
joining.
the session. Yeah. So for the CPM, apart from the short duration of campaign, what else can affect the CPM that makes it high at the end of the whole setup?
Okay, so another thing that can affect your CPM being high if you are using shorts could also be the element and the call to action within the video. So it's always advised that when you are creating short videos, let your call to action show within that first to 6 seconds, not after the video. Then in addition to that, the video has to sell out the message. So pretty much the messaging. Another thing that can also increase your CPM, it is how you actually do the placement of the targeting for that video. If you are targeting the wrong set of audiences who are less interested, you pay more to convince them, right? Rather than targeting the spot on audiences. So just like I earlier reiterated, get the audience demography right, punch in the parameters of interest right, then let the AI do its thing. Yeah?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Festus, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really feel like I need to go back to school because everything that you said, I I don't know
I
where
won't
to
teach you
start
this one.
from.
I
Don't-
only learn this one.
I think
I won't teach you this
this will be a long journey to recover from. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunji. So, quick one. Most of the things that you said here, is actually kind of very detailed. I never knew any of some of these things really exist, right? So it just makes me very humble right now because I've not done digital marketing to this very advanced stage, right? And I'm just looking like, where do I even start from? Okay, because I majorly interface with small business owners, startups, uh, yeah, SMEs. So I've not done something very detailed like this. So how do I begin to navigate into these core areas of digital marketing that you just talked about? And most of those spreadsheets that you shared, uh, how do I apply them right now? I don't know if it would be so much of information for a startup that is just interested in results. Please help me in
Okay.
that aspect.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think for starters, learn the basics, right? So for you to start getting your hand dirty, go and get courses on like the way we are doing 101 now, right? We see the real digital media planning for dummies in quotes. Not that you're a dummy, right? But it just teaches you the basic understanding. Then you can always go online to download simple media plan templates that can give you simple pre-calculated formulas. Oh, I want to do a Facebook ad. I want to do a Google ad. How do I understand these matrices? Yeah, because it's just like, for instance, you want to study medicine. Your parents asked you, let's go to school, where I go and study medicine. If you don't know, they have their terms and terminologies. If you work in a technical workshop, they have terms and terminologies, right? If you are not within that space, you will not understand what they are saying. So first learn the basic terminologies. What are clicks? What are the definitions? How does impressions, influence your call to actions? Those basic things, when you get the understanding of it, it can influence the recommendations you want to make as a consultant positively, or to the client, or to any small business that just wants to grow. I know a lot of small business have approached me that, oh, bro, I just want to grow my Instagram page. I just want followers. Blast it for me. You have to just let them know that there are steps to take as a business. If you want to start from scratch, get your business identity first. Do you have any digital footprints? Okay, I have a digital footprint. How do you want your page to speak to your audience? There should be a section or a session where we should have on this masterclass that talks about how to align your social media pages as a business. There's a format you need to take, the kind of creatives you need to put that will tell a story about your brand. I believe some of us have seen how some influencers design their pages. That is a starting point. Then let your client know it is ideal for you to build a website. That's your personal branding. That's the only place people can find you out. Once you've developed a website, it's very cheap. We have a lot of freelancers out there. They can build a small website, host it on a domain, right? Then after that, get Google My Business. Link Google My Business to their websites. So that way, if people are searching for services, they can actually see their address on Google My Business. Get an SEO expert to help them, grow the website, gradually. SEO is not overnight anyway. It takes weeks, it takes months, it even takes years for you to start building. Then once the client has identified these digital footprints, then you can now start preaching marketing to them. That, okay, for you to get your audiences, this is the insights. We know that the people you are trying to sell fabric, you are a top. Okay, imagine one woman now came to meet me some years back. She's a very big woman in this Alade market in Lagos Island. She sells fabric. Her target audience, me, I can't even afford it. You see fabric of 2 million naira, all this O and B, and she wants to sell. How do I go about it? Madam, your target audience people is Facebook. You will see them because they are the much older audiences. So majorly females who are on Facebook. And we looked at the kind of customers that come to our store offline, identified what they really wanted, and we know how to put a case study together. With my team, we put something small together for her, and she started making sales. You get, because she identified the kind of people that patronize her. She doesn't want people that will say, "What? Send me a DM." Then, guys, also, if you are advertising for a small business, put the price on the post, on the caption. Don't send a DM for them to know how much it costs. You are diffusing your traffic. Let them know that this material or this gadget costs 1 million. They know their target audience. Don't you see how the likes of Bang and Olufsen do? They tell you that you are not our target audience, so don't even bother asking for the price. So put the price tag of whatever product you are selling on the caption. Let them know. That way, their purchase decision is already made there and there. Then those that will now send you a DM, you can now follow up with a conversation, and you make your sales over time. Don't overpromise and under-deliver. Tell your client that before this paid marketing will start having traction, you need to do at least 3 months for you to get mileage. First is awareness. People need to know about it. Do small sponsored ads, right? And if it is Google ads you want to do, if they have a website, do some low budget, Google ads, targeting the right audience and the right sites. As long as that website or the landing page can convert to sales, which means they can actually make purchase, there's a payment gateway where they can pay, they are good to go. And it's an offline engagement, generate leads for them, whichever objective works for you, and reach out to these customers offline. So I think the starting point is first understanding the basics, know the nuances, then get your ideas, right. Put it in a small budget plan. In fact, for some new startup business, you don't even need to do detailed media plan that has all these formulas in it. Just tell them for Facebook, you've already done the analysis. This is the audience size. Put their estimated CPM and just do a basic calculation to get your costs, and you are good to go. Start small, right? Baby steps. Then as you advance, you get more clients, your business grows, you expand, then you now think of more strategic ways to, engage them. I think I've answered the question.
Yeah, I think you have to. Thanks a lot, Tony. Very detailed. Like you said, baby steps. You're already in the right direction. You just have to educate yourself more. Luckily, we're in a place now where there's an overload of information. You have to be the one to now filter it out and pick out what is relevant for you. So you use YouTube, attend sessions, and then you'll be fine. We've run out of time, guys, but I see two more hands up. I'm going to take this through. Omokendi, over to you. Omokendi, are you there? The floor is yours. Omokendi has got to speak on us, so I'll go to the next person. Olakunle Ajayi, floor is yours.
Okay, I want to say thank you very much again for this time. Actually, the questions I was going to ask, he has answered a bit of them from when Festus was speaking, but I just want to say thank you again. This went from being class 101 to a mega master class. And thank you to the organizers, TJ, God bless you. You didn't only exceed expectations from me, you actually blew the ceiling off. You took us from medium to large to mega. I'm speaking for myself right now. And
Thanks
I
so
just
much.
want to say
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I think that's all the hands, but okay. I see two questions here. Okay, Victor is also asking two questions. Victor wants to know, does it help to use meta features like Advantage Plus, creative audience, goal for audience, automatic goals for audience? And how do we cap ad frequency in Meta?
Okay, thank you very much for that. So yes, you can always use, Advantage Plus, depending on whatever goals and objective you want. If you want your ads to, pretty much, accelerate as well as, you want the best saving ad to get the best budget without you doing a lot of the optimization, you can click on the Advantage Plus. But there are also flaws to using Advantage Plus campaigns, because at the end of it all, there's a higher chance that whatever CPM you achieve is definitely going to be higher than what you planned, because you are leaving it to the AI to evenly distribute budget to what is working and what is not. And it could be that what is working for your ad is it demands a higher CPM. There are some websites that when you target them, you have to struggle to just get a little of that visibility share. So you need to up your CPMs for it. So those are the kind of things. Then when it comes to how do you cap your frequency, if you set up on Meta, from the start, after clicking your objective, maybe you are doing awareness and all that. By the time you are inside the ad set, you will see somewhere just before, I think it's just before you click on the audiences where you need to select your audience range. You will see a part frequency where you see three, an open box, maybe you want to do average frequency of 3 in the number of days you want to select. So you can manually put in average frequency of 3 there for 3 days. Or if you are doing a 30-day campaign, you can cap it at average frequency of 3 for 30 days. You will see the drop down. If this works very well for when you do awareness-based campaigns or objectives, or engagement-based campaign objectives, right? It also works if you are doing some form of conversion-based campaign objectives. You will see it at the ad set level at that point. But also remember that after doing all that, when you scroll deep down, ensure you enable that brand safety feature option. You will see standard, you will see moderate, you will see limited, right? So under that brand safety feature option, you will now see exclude my videos from showing on stories or on reels or videos that have whatever. Just check those boxes and you are good to go, right? So just look at your ads manager dashboard and see carefully, where you need to highlight that frequency. You will see there, average frequency, you will see the space. Just put the figure there for the number of days, drop down. You can select any number of days you want. That's it.
Thank you so much. Okay, Kehinde finally came through with that question. Wanted to know want to know your thoughts on programmatic and using social media pages as landing page.
Okay.
How effective is it? Is this something to explore when one doesn't have a website or microsite?
All right. So the first one is the use of programmatic platforms, right? Yes, programmatic is very good simply because no platform, is an island on its own. Just the way we have Google getting a lot of visibility into everything, there are some websites that Google cannot penetrate. I can tell you that for free. And these programmatic platforms, remember, they are DSPs, which means demand side platforms. They are ad exchanges. They are plugged into another. So some websites that don't have Google AdSense commissioned for them, programmatic has an easier way to penetrate those sites and your ads get visible. That's one. Second, if you are into the space of alcohol, betting, and all that, most of these sites or most of these ads, Google and Meta disapprove them by default, except you whitelist, those companies for your ads to showing on those websites. So for programmatic, the faster way to bypass all this ads disapproval is to use programmatic platforms because their policies are not as stiff as Meta and Google that you need to be appealing and filling form and reappealing, right? So if you know that you're working with a certain sector that you know that their campaigns are very niche, e.g. crypto, blockchain, betting, alcohol, just know that programmatic display is the best display channel you can go for awareness. Because while you are waiting on Meta and Google to approve your ads, you are already blasting with programmatic. That's why sometimes you see some websites, you see some ad exchange names that are not Google, that are reflecting on some banners on some websites. That is a good way. So you can have an even split on your media plan. You can say, okay, for Google ads, you can do a 60-40 for your display advertising budget. 60 to Google, 40 to programmatic. Or if you feel programmatic has worked more for you, you can flip it. Now, when it comes to using paid social platforms as your landing page, ideally, that's not best practice. You know why? Simply because you are driving a huge truckload of paid media traffic to an open social media page. Where exactly are they landing? A smart way to go about this is if there's a certain campaign post that you have published and you know it speaks to that campaign that you are running, pin it. Pin that campaign on your Facebook page at the top, pin it on your Instagram page. And if it's the Facebook page you are using as the landing page, use that URL of that post that you've pinned. That will be your URL. Are you getting me? You are not just taking them to the social media page of facebook.com/the brand page. You are taking them to facebook.com/the brand page /that post URL. You can actually get the URL link of each post, right? Pin that post, and that's where the traffic will be landing. That's a smart way to do paid social as a landing page, but it's not sustainable. Trust me, I don't think that's the best practice to use your media budget. So I think the best way to go about it is just set up a microsite. Put all the product listing information on that microsite and drive your traffic there. If it's a periodic campaign that you are using it for, set different microsite pages or just rather build a website. And you are working for a global, anyway, most global clients, they have a landing page anyway. It's just that some of them, their landing page is global. They don't have the Nigerian page. So in that light, there's a way you can set your tracking and analytics that they will know that this traffic is coming from Nigeria. If you are working for a multinational company that their landing page is global and they don't have a Nigerian face to that website page, still drive the traffic there, but your UTM tracking links, your source, medium, ad content name, you've already put identifiers that, okay, 7up_Nigeria ad campaign. So on the back end of the analytics, they know that these are all the media channels that came through this source medium from Nigeria, and you can quantify your media investments there. But for social, advice is pin that post and use the URL of that particular post to drive your campaigns. But I advise do it for just do it for a short period. Don't do it for an always on. Because I would rather recommend you do an always on fan acquisition campaign. We know that you are taking everybody to that Facebook page. You are driving fan acquisitions for it. That's a smart way to get new customers. But if you are just saying you want to use your landing page, when they land there, what do they want to see? There's a lot of feeds. Which exact post do you want them to engage with? And your inventory is lost, dropping them there. It even increases bounce rates, your CTRs become so low. So these are just some, techniques you can profile. From my own point of view, I've had that experience before and it worked. So maybe you want to try that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Tunji. Very detailed. Again, on behalf of AdMap and everybody on the call, I want to say a big thank you to Tunji for facilitating this. This has been a real eye-opener. We will share the presentation and the video in the group. This was, again, we went from 0 to 100 very, very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. And people are going to have to watch that video a couple of times to fully digest what is being covered here. I think our next session is on the 25th. Webinar is going to be open to the public. This one you can share the link with your friends, agencies. This one we want to get as many people as possible to attend it. So share with your friends that work in the industry. We're going to share this with AAAN. We're going to share this with NIPAN. We're going to share this with X-Man as well. Just because account management is very, very important. What Tunji has done today, Tunji has gone beyond the basics. We're actually guiding you on how to actually run your own agency or your own department. And I think one of the things that really complements that kind of technical knowledge is understanding account management from the experts. Joshua is one of the best, in my opinion. I've worked with him for several years, and I think he will come in and add some much needed learnings for you guys. So if you enjoyed Tunji's session, if you're thinking of launching your agency or managing your team better, or you want your team to be better managers of accounts and things, this is one session you don't want to miss as well. That said, I'm going to go ahead and end the session now, guys. Thank you all so much. We did a short poll, and the feedback from the poll is that majority of you prefer Saturday at 11 o'clock for our session. We've heard you, and we'll adjust appropriately as well. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And TJ, thanks a lot. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me. See you next time. Bye-bye.